Thunder 132-118. Victor Wemby and Devin Vassell shared 28 points apiece. Victor went on with 13, 7, 5, and 2. The Spurs bring it home.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
How good do you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, gather around. We got something to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle. He's RJ Ochoa, the managing editor of Blogging the Boys. We will use his expertise as fine as we can today on a busy Friday afternoon. I'm Rob Thompson. I know where my car is. And on the other side of the double pane, that is Easy Edwin Hafner, holding down the ship all week long. Thanks to my good cohorts, good friends, all for sitting in and taking care and doing all the things required in my absence. It was comforting to know you guys were sitting here working and I wasn't.
Hey, we had a great time. It was, a lot of Joe Reinagle, more than I'm accustomed to.
By the way, this airing of the grievances things with Joe Reinagle, you want to talk about it? If anybody ever needed to do what you've had him doing over the last several days, I hope it's helped.
He didn't admit to it, but I do think it was beneficial. I mean, I noticed, yesterday a little bit more of a glow as a result of Monday's airing, and so again, he actually yesterday said that he didn't have a lot because he was a happy guy, and I think we should take some proper credit for that, for allowing him an opportunity on Monday to let it out.
Oh, over the last week, we've got the combine running in full force. I watched a little bit of it yesterday. It's a thing. It's a thing. Every year I'm excited for it, and then it gets going, and I'm kind of like, well, no, who was that? I don't know. It's just a bunch of guys running around.
There are 3 different events like that in the NFL that we are like, I can't wait to watch every second of this. And then we lose steam after 5 minutes. The combine, the NFL draft. We're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And then the first time you're like, who? You're kind of,
I'm out.
And the preseason. Oh man, I haven't watched football in forever. I'm going to soak up every second. And then you're like, oh, these guys suck. Like I have zero interest in this.
I appreciate watching, but I don't really appreciate what I'm watching, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
So, and yesterday was like defensive lineman day.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long 40.
That's true.
For the most part.
It's, and now, I mean, look, I can't wait to see the television ratings, because I guarantee you, as boring of an event as it was or is, it destroys everything. I mean, the NFL is just that big of a fire hose. And so that they moved it to prime time now, it's like, oh man, Rob, you need to get your dinner and tune in to watch, this year's cornerback class tonight. Just
we get corner QBs tomorrow, Saturday, prime time, perfect day. Man, the quarterback conversation is really going to heat up. It's going to be fun, because I think we've lost sight of, what was a conversation during most of the year. And that was just the sheer volume, if not greatness, but volume of quarterbacks available in the first round. If you want one, I mean, now the Jaden Daniels star seems to be kind of climbing a little bit. And there's the Caleb questions that inevitably come with the number one guy coming out. You will always hear those guys shooting from the sides, and Drake May, and Michael Penix, who's not being talked about a lot, I think is also going to go probably pretty quick. So I think
also JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, we saw, what was that redheaded QB from TCU that almost made it?
Are you talking about Andy Dalton?
No. I think we can count Andy as made it.
Okay. Are you talking about Max Duggan?
Yeah, Duggan. JJ's riding that playoff run. Glory.
Oh, no way. JJ's way more equipped than that.
He's a second round quarterback, man. He was but
it's
possible.
I don't totally agree with this philosophy, but it is kind of a blanket philosophy that's hard to poke a hole in. If you're willing to take a quarterback in the second round, why did you not take him in the first round? You know,
I wouldn't take him in either. I didn't have him in my first 2 rounds, but
the second round is the weirdest place to take a quarterback because you were willing to let every team pass on him once, yourself included. You know what I'm saying? And it's supposed to be the most.
You say that, but you plan your work, your plan, and you have this guy graded as the 57th pick. You go, well, that's where if I land at 57 and I kind of need a quarterback, that's where I should go.
There's an inherent value to being a quarterback. That's what's an inherent significant value. An inherent superior value. I would tell you the last 2 notable quarterbacks who were second round picks. And I think you'll go, okay, you know what? That rule kind of passes. Okay. Most recent one, Jalen Hurts. I mean, like, are you signing up to have Jalen Hurts be your franchise quarterback? I know you're kind of like, I don't know. You know, that's
the perfect place in the second round. I think you've made my point.
The cover, well, I know, but you don't want that. It's a bit of a purgatory kind of, archetype. The cover of the second round pick quarterback book, Derek Carr was a second round pick.
You're also proving your point.
I would only say something to prove my point. That's the exact whole thing here.
Wow.
I mean, so that it's a kind of quarterback that's kind of good, but not really great.
Which is really all I'm after.
Yeah, I mean, you just you want to hang out, sell some tickets, sell some hot dogs.
You see what's his go ahead.
Well,
I think great minds think alike because I think we're about to say the same thing. So I want to go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask if you saw the Phillies and the $1 hot dog thing.
I did, and you know why? Because my vanity has like this Google alert thing going on
for hot dogs.
Well, no, for Rob Thompson.
Oh, okay. Oh, but that one is he doesn't have the P.
I know, but for some reason, there was an affiliation with the article with the Phillies and my name, and the algorithm, if it happens to be together, pulls it all in. So I suddenly get all these like your name's all over the place, and normally it's like you never know, and it was that. So I found out in a very weird way about the hot dogs.
Okay, you didn't tell anybody what the hot dogs?
No, you can. You brought it up.
The Phillies did away with $1 hot dog night. So
anger
apparently it led to unruly behavior among people. I mean,
now is that in only in are they in Scottsdale?
Oh no, it's going
to be in Philly.
Really, I don't know exactly what the solution is for the waste management, but this is not related to that.
No, it's not.
So this is also kind of a crime. They replaced $1 hot dogs with 2 for $1. So you're literally raising price by what, 50%? I mean, potentially.
Well, that not according to them.
Wow.
Atlanta is the last bastion of affordable food. Atlanta is the stadium, the football stadium is committed to. They have an entire dollar menu.
Oh, yeah. No,
they really are the last bastion.
And they have a Chick-fil-A that obviously doesn't operate on Sundays.
But that's why the good Lord is now allowing them to play on Fridays and Saturdays, so that Chick-fil-A can in fact be served in front of the God-feared Falcon fan, and say that fast early in the morning.
I love that building.
It is one of the finer facilities, and we'll soon see them stocked full of goodness. Will they have a new quarterback soon? We'll talk about the draft for sure. Look at what the NFL's doing. Spurs, my gosh. I can't wait to talk about what we saw last night. It was we needed it. I think all of us just desperately needed it. Everybody down at the Frost, you could kind of feel this air of, please give us something. Give us something to paddle the rest of the way home, because it's been a long month, man, for a lot of us. We needed last night, and we needed to see proof positive that Wemby is exactly what we thought he is, a futuristic weapon, the likes of which Bill Land said, he made that shot from Paris, Texas, and Lord, did he ever. And then there was the block. A Manu moment.
Last night was one of those that, it'll be, remember the Thunder game, Wemby's rookie year, it was one of those, and to do it against them, to have the block against on Chet of all people. I have nothing against Chet. It's just a Zach Lowe thing for me. So I hope Zach was watching. And it was you said it was really nice. It was so nice that I'm not gonna get all silly about Wemby saying I missed this and being like, you missed, like you don't know a lot about what it's like to win in the buildings. So you can miss it, but see, that also like added to it. Like it was just such a badass night. It was such a it wasn't a coronation or a crowning, but it was like when the prince rides into the the royal court or whatever. It was like, ooh, he's the future. It's him. It's him. It was everybody hush.
Last night was so absolutely appropriate for a lot of reasons. David standing out there in one cool as hell jacket. Where do we get those? Take my money now. If we could find one, I'll take it. Also, above and beyond, I got to see the halftime performance because of the way I had to watch it. And
I heard this story. Yeah,
that's the biggest high school dance team on the planet. I've never seen the size of. Have you ever seen? It was South Lake Carroll brought their I don't know, entire sophomore class. It was. I've never seen a dance team that big. I can't imagine the size of that high school. But I got to see the entire game, both in and out, watching all the stuff going on. And what an appropriate night! It just felt like the fandom there was ready to see, and more importantly, Wemby was ready to give a great performance, a welcome home.
I think I have a submission for a name for the Chet block, if you'll allow me.
I'm ready. And this might be something worthy of a all show event. What is it?
Okay, so this is my submission, but I'm definitely open to hearing what anybody has to say. And I can't take credit for it myself. So I quote tweeted this and said, Wemby doing this against Chet is just, and then I put in asterisk, like chef's kiss,
which is brilliant. Yeah.
And one of my Twitter follows, Father to the Prince, responded, Chet's kiss.
Ooh.
That's what this that the block shall forever be known as Chet's kiss.
Chest kiss.
Chet's kiss, not chest. You're not kissing the chest. Chet's kiss.
A lot of respect given to the game played last night. The Spurs. What a little bit of discipline means. We're going to look at it very much in depth at 7:00. Go nowhere. It's 7:00 chock full of Wemby's quotes, and we'll edit out all the curse words. I think Victor's been hanging around Pop too much. His proclivity to the four-letter words, I love as an overcusser myself. But as he goes, Mama might not be approving of this. But, they all speak French. And I understand.
Yeah, we're two more instances away from Wemby. There are children watching. So it was great, though. It was cathartic. I mean, so I can kind of understand what dude's been through a lot. I mean, he's way too talented to experience what he's been going through, and so it had to feel good to let one off.
Hey, let's talk about the NFL because you have to. That's what they pay us for. Around the corner is the combine, and as the combine goes, the Dallas Cowboys go as well. Dan Orlovsky said it, and we might have to go ahead and talk about it. Although Dan's starting to work me. Thoughts on Dan Orlovsky?
I'd rather not.
Good. But did Jerry Jones, in fact, lie to us? That's really the question here. And my point to you is it's not a lie if you believe it. We're talking Cowboys next. This is the Morning Huddle, and you lucky devils chose correctly. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic is set Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas with plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. Then, after your round, join the San Antonio Sports Star gang for the after party, where the Blitz will be live at 90 Proof Bar and Grill, 11880 U.S. Highway 90, just 10 minutes from the Golf Club of Texas. It's San Antonio's Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation, Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-5407. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. there is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-5407. That's 800-575-5407. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-632-4056 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-632-4056. That's 800-632-4056. What do you have to lose? Call 800-632-4056. Again, 800-632-4056.
Tax day is coming.
Oh, no.
But if you sign up for Robinhood Gold's IRA with a 3% match, you can get up to $195 for the 2023 tax year.
Oh, yeah.
Sign up at Robinhood.com/boost by tax day to get the biggest contribution match on the market. Subscription fees apply.
Investing involves risk. 3% match requires gold for 1 year from first match. Must keep IRA for 5 years. Robinhood Financial, LLC, member SIPC.
We could try to explain what it feels like to get your work done on a John Deere. The way a Z-Track mower finishes in half the time you thought it would. Or how much easier it is to move mountains of soil with the 1 Series tractor. We could even go into detail about how it feels to tow up to 4,000 pounds behind a Gator XUV. But if you really want to know what it's like to run with us, you just have to get in the seat. Learn more at johndeere.com/get-in-the-seat or visit a dealer near you.
Dave Ramsey here from my friends over at Connecticut in San Antonio. Trust me, Connecticut water systems are the best of the best. I personally have one in my home. All those other water softener systems out there are junk in comparison. Connecticut uses less water and runs on kinetic energy. So there's no computer to break, fewer moving parts, and it works only when you need it. It was even voted most efficient water softener in the world by the Water Quality Association. The team at Connecticut San Antonio can test your water, install a system, and provide treatment all without stepping a foot inside your home.
I'm Chris Canepa of Connecticut and San Antonio in the Hill Country. I'll let you try a Connecticut quality water softener for 90 days absolutely free. Call us at 656-PURE, that's 656-7873, or visit us on ConnecticutSA.com.
And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
Call 656-PURE, Connecticut.
My name is John. I could not lose the weight I needed to. The Institute for Functional Health Wellness program was the answer. It included a great deal of testing, supplements, and weekly face-to-face doctor visits. I finally had the accountability I needed. I am now 50 pounds lighter. I no longer have pain in my elbow, back, and hips. I have more energy and just feel and look so much better.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
This is Andrew Monaco, and the Aggies play here. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
I would anticipate, with looking ahead at our key contracts that we'd like to address, we'll be all in. I would anticipate we'll be all in at the end of this year.
I would anticipate we'll be all in starting this year. That was Jerry Jones. This is the Morning Huddle. He is RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. Thanks for sitting in with us on it don't feel like it, but a big old Friday. I'm sure it feels like it to you this morning.
Yeah. Happy weekend.
Happy March 1st. It entered like a lamb here in San Antonio.
Yeah. So nice to be in March, the month of action for the NFL, what with free agency, this legal tampering period beginning in 10 days. And That was Jerry Jones actually about a month ago. It was literally a month ago, a few days. It was January 30th that he said that while at the Senior Bowl. And yesterday, obviously you were out, Rob. Michael Gelkin of the Dallas Morning News, who we're big fans of. If my opinion means anything on this front to anybody, so be it. But when my opinion is that when Michael Gelkin speaks, you should listen.
Why is that? Give him his bona fides.
He is, and I mean this with all due respect to everyone on the local beat. Michael is consistently the most plugged in, the most consistent, to use that word again. He's got these scoops and the most inside scoops when they happen, before they happen. So this is a dude who knows what he's talking about and who understands what pieces of the puzzle you need along the way. And so all that context offered, yesterday he tweeted, I'm just going to read it for you, Rob. Here at the Combine, the Cowboys have fewer, this pop-up destroyed my reading. The Cowboys have fewer scheduled meetings with agents than in years past. There is no hint they're on the precipice of a high-priced free agency flurry that would resemble what most associate with the all-in buzzword. And he'd previously written about this, how the idea of all-in from the Cowboys could be just talk. And he's, I mean, again, among people on the local beat, one of the only people saying that, one of the only people saying like, hey, this whole thing, this was just a bunch of BOLOGNA. You know what I mean? Like this was never a real thing. And I know that Pledge feels differently than I do about this. We had a video on our social feeds where he said so, and I was on with him yesterday, and he offered his point to me, saying, hey, look, Jerry, you know, I think Pledge feels like Jerry's going to be able to lean on the semantics of this all. And he is, in all likelihood. He's going to say, hey, you know, I said we'd be all in, and we're going to give Dak this money. We're going to give CeeDee this money, or, you know, we're all in all the decisions that we're making. We have our coaching staff on a one-year deal. That was something else Gelkin reported yesterday, was that Mike Zimmer signed a one-year deal with the team. But Jerry, you know this, and I think you agree, Jerry knew what he was doing when he said we're going to be all in.
Oh, yeah.
He knew the rose he was waving in front of the, you know, our faces, you know, the bachelor waving it in front of the eligible bachelorettes. You know what I'm saying? Like just dangling the carrot for us. And I wouldn't say everybody, because I definitely didn't, but so many people bit, and so many people took it, and so many people said, oh, they're finally gonna do it. He's mad, he's furious. And this is why, Rob, I think you would support me and back me up here. I know I'm going long. No. I did not fall all over myself for the Mike Zimmer hire the way other people did. So many people were just so hungry to eat the cheese that they took it. I mean, they have taken the cheese all of this short off season, and here we sit on the precipice of real action being possible, and Michael Gelkin is telling you in his coded way that is not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not. But I teased it. It's not a lie if you believe it. And I do believe Jerry thinks this all in. He's going to spend some money in this offseason. He's going to spend it. He'll spend as much money this offseason as any team in the NFL.
That's, again, I don't think it's the Costanza-ism, because I don't think he is saying, well, I believe this lie. I think he's.
You think he's orchestrating it? He's spinning the plates. He is the Wizard of Oz. Don't look behind the curtain. Just keep paying attention to the fluff. And I get it, but I refuse to fall on the Dan Orlovsky side of things, where he's
I'm not
this
jumping on that side for anything.
You know what I'm saying? I agree with you, RJ, that it's a lie, that what he told us is in fact not the truth. But I think he defines all in kind of like, in fact, full credit to James Pledger, because I think he's right. That he believes that, you know, that you judge I think you know, he's an oil man, and you judge your investment by your, I disagree with the snake oil. For a guy like him, this was a dry hole, or this hole's only pumping about 40% of what we expected. But the next one, baby, all I got to do is drill a little bit deeper. I don't need a different drill. I just got to drill a little bit deeper. So come on with
still
me.
Offering too much of a benefit. I think this was a matter of, when he said this, it was January 30th. It hadn't even been a month since the playoff loss. And the one thing I will give them credit for being incredibly perceptive of is the pulse of their fans. And I wouldn't say pulse, but the interest level of their fans, because that's the ultimate, heartbeat of what they do. And I think we would both agree that the interest level was down bad. People were more mad, and I know that we say that every year, but they were more mad this offseason with the way the playoff loss went than they had been in a long time. And I think that Jerry knew that. I think they all knew that. And I think that Jerry couldn't help himself, somewhat to your point, and say, you know what, I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say, because that's going to buy me some time. And, we often in life, we do things or we say things or whatever, and we know that we eventually are going to have to pay the bill on that. But that's so far away. That's, I gotta do this a month from now. That's like 3 years from now. You know what I mean? Like,
a stall is a win. A stall is a win at every occasion for most things with money.
And so Jerry stalled, and they bought a month of who's going to be the all-in, who's going to load up and blah, blah. And Steven is the bad cop. And Steven this week said, well, we're kind of all in every year. Like the back walking has started. And because now they know
not to be all in any given year. But,
dude, I mean, Steven said this week, he said, all right, Pops, we got to start putting this toothpaste back in the tube. So I'm gonna go fall on this grenade, and we're gonna let people be mad for 2 weeks, and then by the time free agency rolls around and we do nothing, they'll have gotten over it.
Gosh, we got a lot to do. I want to talk Spurs, but coming up, I think there might be further proof, or maybe the exhibit A in the argument is, what does Jerry truly believe and what is all in? Because I guess a good question would fall directly on the Tony Pollard situation. It looks like, running backs are going to be a bargain, and suddenly you could get a Tony Pollard for half the price you paid before. Does that up the ante? Does that prove the point? Is he indeed all in? Is that part of it? And does that Mike Zimmer contract tell you something? Things are moving around the Cowboy camp, but it doesn't move toward all in. We'll talk about Tony Pollard. Is he worth that? And would you invest a little bit more? The argument continues. And Saquon Barkley, well, he might be looking at Houston. Let's talk Cowboys next. Hang around with us. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, the NFL Combine continues out in Indianapolis. Of course, that always means the Dallas Cowboys are doing something. John Machota is going to join us at 5:15 from The Athletic.
Plus, Spurs, Oklahoma City last night, all the reaction between Chet and Wemby. The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Take steps to live a more sustainable lifestyle by investing in plastic-free food storage containers like silicone sandwich bags or beeswax wraps, which can replace the difficult-to-recycle single-use plastic wrap. And while we all do our part, Charmin is working hard to make a difference by regrowing 2 trees for every tree used. We all go, why not enjoy the go with Charmin? Whether it's the irresistible cushiony softness of Charmin Ultra Soft or the superior strength and absorbency of Charmin Ultra Strong, either way, you can't go wrong.
This is the story of a very special woman. Just a few knew about her superpowers. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-5795. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at tra.com or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-731-4558 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-731-4558 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-731-4558 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
Hi, it's Jason Minix. You're listening to the home of the Cowboys, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Thanks, Jason. Don't forget the Blitz gets busy today at 2 as Joe Reinagel readjusts his sleep schedule. Just in time for the weekend. Hey, get yourself signed up for our golf tournament. It is filling fast. I haven't seen an update in a day or two, but I have a feeling it is getting small. We need you to go to sasportstar.com. You'll see all the deets there. We're playing March the 25th at the Golf Club of Texas. Had a chance to take a look at it the other day. It looks phenomenal. It'll be a beautiful day. We called ahead. So go ahead and sign up. How's your lob wedge game?
You know what? One of the better clubs in my bag.
Most people, it's true. I don't know why we swing so true with the lob wedge. Is it because it's bottom weighted?
Yeah, I mean, it's designed to do that.
Why can't every club feel like that club?
Because
I have a lot of things I want.
Okay.
I mean,
what are they?
I mean, why can't every club swing like a lob wedge? Why can't?
Because they have different functions.
Well, I know, but if I swing the same way with
but what you're saying is like, why can't every food taste like chicken parmesan?
No. It's just the way that my lob and my 5-iron feel. Why doesn't every club feel like that?
Because they serve different functions. How they're designed,
but they're entirely different clubs, yet they feel the same to me.
I think you are.
I don't know.
Here.
I don't know,
RJ.
I'm a man with a lot of not wrong. I have a lot of questions.
Okay, well, I will do my best to answer what I can.
We love Tony Pollard, but didn't he prove to us that he is not a short yard back, that there are going to be ongoing issues with his availability, whether his ability outweighs that? I don't care at half the price if you ain't playing, or even if you're not right through 8 games, you ain't worth it. Why are we looking at him again?
Tony Pollard gave me a pillow, and for that reason, I will
that's
defend
enough.
him.
And he didn't give me one, and that's the other side of this coin.
He gave me a pillow, so I will defend him a lot. he did that during an interview that we did with him at the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, and he was either coincidentally honest or incredibly well rehearsed. And he said that he finally felt like himself the week that the Cowboys played the Carolina Panthers.
And what week was that?
11.
Week 11. Okay.
Look, the dude was coming off a fractured fibula.
I agree.
It's fair to say that, it took him a minute to kind of warm up. So that being said, Pro Football Focus's highest graded rusher from week 11 through the wild card round was Tony Pollard. Now, Tony Pollard, there you go. That's why you watch on YouTube. Go to the SA Sports Star YouTube channel. You can see Rob right there. And me in a picture of Tony Pollard next to a picture of Rob pointing to Dan Marino's pen. So anyway,
chat books. Just look at it. Just go check it.
Tony, yeah, no free ads, but so Tony, I wouldn't say significantly underperformed, but underperformed, I guess, certainly relative to expectation in 2023.
I ain't mad at him. I'm not mad at Tony Pollard. I am, and I'm not mad at anything because right now, my normal size goldfish are now koi. I mean, I can get some pretty good fish now.
That's the running back market in general.
Right.
You're walking in and this is the dollar menu, right? Like this is, that's what this is. The market is oversaturated and nobody wants to pay anything. And I think that could lead to a friendly price because look, nobody wants Tony Pollard back at $12 million, which is what it would be if they tagged him, which is why they're not going to tag him. But what if I told you could have him for a third or for half of that?
Let me ask you a question. What kind of back do we want? Maybe we should be asking that question instead of the guy. I felt
That's not
like
even
there
the right
was
question.
Well, I don't know because I felt like when I look back on last year and I go running game, what did I miss? Well, I missed the 3rd and 2 back, the 3rd and 3 back. We didn't have that, and I felt like if we did have that on a consistent basis, there would have been a couple of different outcomes. But we didn't have that dude, and Tony Pollard ain't that dude.
This isn't to say that the Cowboys made the wrong decision with Zeke Elliott, but that was the element of their run game that they missed. They missed that kind of short yardage, tougher, grinded out, dirty yards type of dude. If you have that guy to complement Tony Pollard, then you're really cooking with
Maybe
gas.
we're not fighting. But if I can, in this market, if $5 million gets me Pollard, what's $7 million get me?
Well, there is no number one back. There's no guy that you can't just find that.
Oh,
You're
it's
gonna
Saquon. Saquon's the number one back. Ain't no question about that.
Robert.
Oh.
No.
Oh, RJ,
No.
come on. No, he really is the number one back.
No.
There's no question. It's him and everybody else.
I agree with Ultra Cowboy in the general sense on the brigade bar. Says don't pay running backs, draft one in the later rounds or latter rounds. Now, so Bill Barnwell has a projection now involving every kind of top running back on the market and has Tony Pollard and Devin Singletary of the Houston Texans in the same box, projecting them to make somewhere between $4 to $6 million per year. So if we call that 5, if we average it, totally willing to pay Tony Pollard. You want to come back for 2 years, $10 million, Tony? Let's do that. And I'm going to draft somebody. And we're gonna form a platoon, Rob. I've never seen that movie with Willem Dafoe, but we're gonna form a platoon. That's what we're gonna do. That's how we're gonna go with this.
Platoon.
Well,
platoon means I ain't got anybody good enough to win the job. That's what platoon. When I'm platooning anything, that means, well, this guy can do this kind of half-ass, so I'll let him come play a couple of downs. And this idiot, if he can just get out of his own way, might do it half the time. So I'll platoon him and hope I choose the right half of the time to put him in the game.
I think the archaic way of looking at
I'm an archaic
platoon.
guy.
But it's okay to have a platoon. Who's the lead running back?
Well, we had a platoon last year. It didn't get us very far.
So let's look at the Chiefs. They have Isaiah Pacheco, but they also have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right? They also have Jarek McKinnon, right? They have a lot of
They had Pacheco.
No, and I'm not saying that Tony Pollard is even Isaiah Pacheco, but
No,
how
he's
was
not.
Isaiah Pacheco found recently in the NFL draft?
I'll get you, but
the Niners,
it's a
prior
bird
to
in the
Christian
hand thing with
McCaffrey,
me.
and Christian McCaffrey is the exception. All right, the only exception, which is a wonderful Paramore song. I know you know that. But before Christian McCaffrey, they had just a cast of their own characters. I mean, it was Raheem Mostert here, just Jeff Wilson here. I mean, it was just whatever. Look at the Miami Dolphins. right? Like one of the better ground attacks in the NFL. I mean, it's Devon Achane here. You know, it's Raheem Mostert there. I mean, it's a smorgasbord. It's a charcuterie board of running backs, and that's how you have to approach it. So you got to bring Tony Pollard back if it's at that price point, about $5 million a year, and do something else. You cannot make the mistake of saying we're going to devote everything to any one guy, not just Tony Pollard specifically.
I use the last resort.
Wow, hater. You've been sipping on that hater. I would have been
I was going to be upset with it. I was going to be very angry, but you had the caveat of, and the dude, and the draft. And once you go that route, then I go, okay, now we're talking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If the price tag on Tony Pollard really is somewhere around $5 million a year, I'm totally in. But that cannot be your only plan. And I think last year kind of taught you that, even when he's healthy, which, again, the Cowboys running game was stable from week 11 on, and Tony Pollard was a big reason for that. But you cannot make that mistake again. And that's not a Tony Pollard specific mistake. That's an overall philosophical one. It's not even a mistake. It's just the way that the game is played now. You have to have multiple bodies. Again, I know you don't like that word, but you have to have a platoon. Is it a good movie?
You're joking, right?
I told you I've never seen it.
I think, it's funny to me that a lot of the movies you haven't seen are like quintessential of an
I've
era.
got some really weird.
It is a quintessential 80s movie. I mean,
I'm not above admitting that the holes in my game are embarrassing holes. You know, there aren't a lot of them, but the ones that are there are not the ones that I'm proud of. Like I've never seen that, never seen Goodfellas. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
Well, that movie it started to put the whole Vietnam era to bed.
Platoon or Goodfellas?
No, Platoon.
Okay.
Although Goodfellas put some other guys to bed, if you know what I mean.
Hey, this man's on fire this
I
morning.
put it to you, and it is a correct assumption, I do believe, especially by the vote, that Rice Krispy Treats are in fact proof that God loves us. There is a poll out there, a study that showed that Rice Krispy Treats are indeed USA's favorite snack. Talk amongst yourselves. I know that RJ is in fact verklempt. Some of you are giggling to that. We'll be right back. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I hope you woke up this morning feeling good. I hope there's nothing paining you and keeping you out of the game, because if that's it, man, go about your life. Congratulations. But if you're like a lot of us, you woke up with this morning with something that's bothering you, something that is keeping you from doing something you need to do or love. And if that's you, listen close. You can get it fixed. Arasti. Yeah, Arasti. These providers are all around San Antonio, literal experts, highly trained medical professionals in getting you out of pain. It's not only that they do it, it's how they do it. Because it's not about pills to hide the pain or dull it. It's not about surgery that's there to prolong, if not ultimately fix. It's about your body fixing itself. And man, oh man, it's worked for me. I had lower back issues most of my adult life, and when I finally stumbled into an Arasti provider about 6 years ago, you'll try just about anything when the pain gets bad enough. And I'll be darned if they didn't fix it. And they fixed it fast. On average, under 4 visits get you taken care of. They've done the study. For me, it got me fixed. And then more importantly, they taught me how to stay fixed. If you need the pain fixed, call today. The number is 1-800-404-6050. The website is arasti.com. Use it because there's a great map there, all the locations all around San Antonio. I bet there's a place less than 10 minutes from where you are now. Listen to me close. Don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. Call Arasti today, and when you do, they're going to get you fixed, and I'm sure you'll be thanking me later.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join. Or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. Then, after your round, join the San Antonio Sports Star gang for the after party, where the Blitz will be live at 90 Proof Bar and Grill, 11880 US Highway 90, just 10 minutes from the Golf Club of Texas. It's San Antonio's Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation, Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Hey, dude, you didn't tell me that you wrecked it, and it looks wrecked. How much was the insurance check? $8,000. Yeah, did y'all spend it on fixing it, or did you put it in your pocket? Well, my cousin. Just stop there. Just stop there. All I needed to know is $8,000 insurance and a cousin.
The John Clay Wolf Show, every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, poker players, the Big Blind is open with a true Vegas feel. The Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the Roo Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road.
Pork rinds pack a protein punch and are the boldest low-carb snacks out there. Skip the chip and try Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds for that ultimate crunch. And with flavors that will have you craving for more, the time to stock up on Southern Recipe at H-E-B is now. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. Be big, be bold, be adventurous.
Let's listen in on a modern-day marriage proposal. The players lift their smartphones. The young man pledges his true love to the woman of his dreams. She accepts. They exchange kissing emojis. There are some hearts. Very nice. Well, look at this. He's putting his phone down. I don't believe it. He's got a box from Diamonds Direct. Well, now she puts her phone down. Oh, unbelievable. That, folks, shows how special a diamond from Diamonds Direct is. Two people have put their phones down. He slips the Diamonds Direct diamond on her finger. She kisses him. Human contact, ladies and gentlemen. Who knew a Diamonds Direct diamond was capable of revolutionizing the virtual universe? And look at this. Her phone is ringing and she's still looking at her Diamonds Direct diamond. Oh, what's next? Tweets from actual birds? Amazing things really do happen when you give her a diamond from Diamonds Direct. Come in today and see how we can help you download real emotion. Details, store hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com. Your love, our passion.
This is the time of year to enjoy life. Stop letting that pain in your joints keep you from doing what you want this spring. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking about lasting joint pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. It's a fact. QC Kinetics is literally transforming lives. Their advanced treatments harness your body's own natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Pro athletes have been doing this for decades, but now this life-changing treatment is available for you. So you can walk, run, climb stairs, play golf, and move again, pain-free. No pills, no risky surgery. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients who have reclaimed their mobility. So take action now. It's a great use of your tax refund check, by the way. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
This is Jim Rome. Join me weekdays at noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You're on the Morning Huddle. Go grab something sweet and delicious and enjoy a fine breakfast of a Rice Krispy Treat. It is America's favorite snack, so I've been told.
Yeah. First We Feast, which actually puts on the Hot Ones challenge.
Oh, really?
Which
Okay.
we have volunteered to do if we reach a. I'm gonna have to ask Private Ryan. I've also never seen Saving Private Ryan. How many subscribers we are away from having to do that? But they put out a graph yesterday. It's not a graph. It was a picture of the United States. They filled in all the states with the most popular snacks by state, and Rice Krispie Treats dominated
The country, though not the state of Texas.
Right. The now the Southeast version, SEC country. What do you think their favorite snack is?
Moon pies. I don't know.
Doritos.
Which flavor? That's important.
Standard, the red bag.
Which I'm down with. I get.
The I wouldn't say the northeast part of the country, but kind of the New York-ish area, their favorite snack is Lay's. But if the color that is shaded here is to be believed, you asked what flavor, it's the limon flavor.
Get the hell
They really
out of
like
here.
those. I'm serious.
Okay.
There's one state that up there that prefers Cheerios.
What state prefers Cheerios?
This is I scrolled over. This
Yawn. Cheerios?
This is Delaware.
Delaware? So our President Biden, there's jokes. Oh my God, there's jokes. So there's a state that's favorite snack is Cheerios? What are they like?
So
8 months old?
Oklahoma is a Fritos fan. I don't even really like Fritos. Fritos are rated like a
on
chili.
their own are not, even though that's San Antonio's own, man. That's puro when we start talking Fritos. So I'm not going to badmouth them. I enjoy a Frito, just not alone. Let's just put it there.
Wyoming, Montana, and Hawaii have a common denominator as far as favorite snacks are concerned. They're Chex Mix fans.
All right.
No.
It's kind of like that's kind of like a holiday thing for me. But no, I'm down. All right.
Texas, Louisiana, New Mexico, Nevada, Arizona, California. We share a passion for Cheetos.
Not just. It has to be Flamin' Hot Cheetos. It can't just be Cheetos.
They're the standard orange.
I think it's the Flamin' Hot part of this, though. I really do.
Well, then that argument would apply for Doritos and Cheetos and.
Well, I know that they just
Cheerios
put the Cheetos, but if you went and polled by, like, I just want to watch, and every time I see a Cheetos bag, I'll say 3-1, it's Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but anyway, the most popular snack, apparently, according to First We Feast in the United States, is a Rice Krispie treat.
And it's correct.
That's just
it's a lovely and delicious thing.
It's just no, it's not.
Nobody
even really likes them.
Oh, well, see.
When was the last time you had one?
I have them fairly regularly. I'm not going to lie. I like them.
They're not good.
What do you mean? No,
they're not good. Have you ever had them made? They leave you so thirsty.
Have you ever have them made for you by someone you love?
I suppose. I mean, homemade ones slap different. That's fair, but that's not what the
I
game
know.
here
But
is.
even
The game
those,
is
even these,
mass-produced.
it's kind of like pizza, man. It's still pretty damn good. Pizza.
I don't know that.
Sex and Rice Krispie bars. I don't care how you get it. Still pretty good.
I wonder if any human being has ever said that sentence.
Well, you reach a point in life where you get your priorities in order, and I think I just did.
Rice Krispies are just so. It's funny. I saw this yesterday after my grievance was marshmallows. My grievance was just their existence. Like, I don't find them to be good at all. Brian brings that up in the chat. Like, I
weep. See, but here's the thing. I'm not going to blame you guys because I think it's just ignorance and not stupidity. I don't think you're stupid. I just think you're ignorant. And that's very different. It's kind
Rudolph
of
Gonzalez agrees with you.
You guys that don't like marshmallows, that was a bless your heart moment. Oh, bless his heart. He doesn't like marshmallows.
Rice Krispies suck. Give me some good snacks. I don't even want the Cheetos. You can have the Cheetos. Get out of here. I'd rather have the Cheerios over all those options, to be honest with you.
That sums it up. Hey, have something round and cardboard, because that sums us up. Just around the corner, we're talking silver and black, and do we have a lot to say? Wemby did it, and the Spurs are going to win the title in 7 years.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, the NFL Combine continues out in Indianapolis. Of course, that always means the Dallas Cowboys are doing something. John Machota is going to join us at 5:15 from The Athletic.
Plus, Spurs, Oklahoma City last night, all the reaction between Chet and Wemby. The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you can't sleep because of annoying knee pain, that's a problem. If you stop running because your feet always hurt, that's a problem. If your elbow, shoulder, and neck pain make it impossible for you to do your job, that is a problem. And it's time to finally do something about it. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. No medications, no injections. Arasti treatment is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, we accept most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Hop on over to Family Dollar for everything Easter this year. Find great buys on pre-filled Easter baskets or craft your own with a variety of plushes, candies, and toys. Only at Family Dollar, helping you do more.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Hello, this is Chip with Diamond J Properties. You're invited to our coastal waterfront grand opening this Saturday, where you can get 1 to 4 acres in the waterfront community starting at $49.9. That's 1 to 4 acres starting at $49.9. This coastal waterfront community has over 4 miles of water frontage with access to the ICW, Gulf, Matagorda Bay, and much more. Property features paved roads, underground utilities, boat launch, pier, pool, cabana, and more. This property is shown by appointment only. Call now, 210-853-0389. 210-853-0389. 210-853-0389. 210-853-0389.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
Guys, got hair loss? I know what you're thinking. Should I shave my head, comb it over, wear a hat? Just stop. This isn't 1970. Keep your hair and your confidence, because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration expert, can give you your real hair back permanently. Check them out today, because they're giving away an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card to anyone that texts expert to 200-300. Dude, you don't have to look like your dad, because this isn't your dad's hair loss treatment. People all over the country trust Bosley because they're ahead of the curve. They use the latest technology to give you your real hair back. And the best part, Bosley's permanent solution is protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Let Bosley show you for free how awesome your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off. Text EXPERT to 200-300. That's EXPERT to 200-300.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM, Floresville.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs arrived home from the Rodeo Road Trip, snapping a 5-game losing streak, beating the Oklahoma City Thunder 132-118. Wemby and Devin Vassell each had 28 points in the victory. In other Spurs news, they released Marcus Morris at the last possible moment, avoiding having to pay him. He is now a free agent. In Major League Baseball, the Rangers beat the Brewers, and Houston got a 2-1 win over the Mets.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Wembenyama goes behind the back here. Oh, little sidestep and a jam by Wembenyama.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Hey, gather around. We got something to talk about. This is the Morning Huddle. He's RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. Easy E. Edwin Hafner on the other side of the double pane glass. 3 hours of fun coming, aren't you? You're glad you sat in with us today. Don't mind them brake lights. We'll get you where you're going on a Friday morning, March the 1st. Feeling good about spring nearly here. That cold snap we had for about 24 hours gone. Expecting sunny days. The smell of smoke as those West Texas wildfires. I hope they don't bring the smoke this direction. That's all I need. Bunch of stuff in the air. So here we sit. The Spurs finally get a win coming home to the Thunder, 132-118. Wemby, here's some numbers for you, RJ. He had 28 points, 13 rebounds. Where I'm from, they call that a double-double. He's also had 7 assists, 5 blocks, and 2 steals. That's on 9 of 17 from the floor and 5 of 7, including 1 from Paris, Texas, as Bill Land told us on the broadcast. He became the first player in NBA history with 25 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 blocks, and 5 3-pointers in a game just a couple of days ago. We call it the 5x5. Here he did it. And it wasn't just Wemby, though it was just Wemby. It wasn't just the effort, though it was just the effort. It wasn't just a little bit of discipline, but it was a little bit of discipline. Good win.
In his post-game Instagram post, which was fire, Wemby captioned it, "No place like home." Doesn't that hit you? Just a
little bit of right there.
The old Corazon. This game kicked ass. This game had it all. Like this was the I brought up Furs to Joe this week. Remember Furs buffet?
It's not Luby's, but it's good.
I mean, you would go, you'd get a scoop of this, a scoop of that. You know what I mean? Like this had it all. You got like pick the Wemby thing that you like the most, obviously. Devin Vassell, hey. Keldon Johnson, hey. Dominating Chet, hey. Like you know what I mean? This just scratched every conceivable itch. Back at home after the Rodeo Road Trip, hey. This was, I don't know that this was proof of concept in any sort of way. I'm not willing to go that far by any stretch, but this was a much needed breath of fresh air. I mean, after we're not quite Eddie Dufresne on the other side here, but I mean, golly, it was great to just take a breath and remember what life smells like.
Love the reference. The win was great, but the night started pretty good. For those that were there early, they got a little, how the NBA now lets the guys come out and talk to you. They give you the mic, get the fans behind you. Well, no group of fans needed to hear from their guy more than anybody. And he cussed again. That's twice now. That's twice now in front of the kids.
Twice in like 3 weeks.
He's kind of let it rip.
And two different curse words. It's not like he has a favorite. You know what I'm saying? So
you get the sense, you act like who you're around. And, your mentor is a guy who probably lets a few of them rip. I get it. I know that, Pop, you speak in certain ways. And I've seen, at least I've read, I have no verification other than I read it on a social media post, that the overcussers tend to be more intelligent. And I tend to agree.
I like to play the win probability game a lot. What do you think the Thunder's highest win probability was?
Gosh. Somewhere
they bottled it, to be clear.
Somewhere in the third, maybe.
So the highest they ever achieved was with 3:38 left in the first.
Oh, in the first. Wow.
Yeah, they were up 31-24. And their win probability was 88.4%.
I want to talk about that. Go ahead.
Well, that came down, and then the Spurs had really swung things their way, and they carried an 87.5% win probability when they were up by 12 in the third. But then then Oklahoma City narrowed the gap, and then the other box this game as a whole checked was it had a back and forth, right? It wasn't just like a cruise control sort of thing. So the Thunder, with 9 minutes and 27 seconds left in the contest, had a 75.3% win probability when they were up by 3 points. The Spurs won. I mean, that's hard. That is the true mark of a good team. If you can overcome something like that in the final, 9 or 9.5 minutes of a game, you're a good basketball team, and that happened.
There's so much to undress here. This we do it every day. It's called the Talking Silver and Black. You got something to say, you can reach out. 656-3776. You can type it or talk on that line, or you can join the mini and get on the scroll there at our YouTube feed. What do we call them?
The Brigade Bar.
Get on the Brigade Bar, front and center. The game started as a back and forth between he and Chet, and mano a mano. I really did feel like I was looking into the future. Because now these guys, at this point, they're no longer rookies. I mean, you played a lot of basketball by now. Right. Chet certainly isn't a rookie. And it looked like a battle of dudes that can play and do everything. It was one of those, I don't think it's one of those seminal moments in the league, but I think everybody who was there, who watched really got a sense of what future of basketball looks like. Watching bounce passes from Chet and backdoor cuts and things that he's doing. He's a phenomenal basketball player. He really is. Just ridiculous. And Wemby is just that much better. He just is just better at doing the same things. And they're both unique.
It's a lot easier to admit that Chet is awesome when Wemby's better and when the Spurs won the game. Right?
It does help.
This is the most willing we're able to be humble about it. But you're right. This was the first time that a matchup with the two of them, not that there's been 100 of these, but that it's really lived up to the oh man, the rookie, the battle of the rookies, and it really did kind of have some of that vibe. And it was great basketball. I wouldn't even say Spurs Twitter, although Spurs Twitter obviously loved it, but my general Twitter timeline, people, who I follow from different, aspects that just love the NBA and love basketball, really, it was a treat. You know what I mean? It was a treat of a game to kind of parachute into if you didn't even have a rooting interest, just to kind of watch this and to see the Wemby block on Chet. I think was just this holy crap! You want to talk about the future? That's the future. Because if he can do that to Chet, and not to make Chet into be something that he's not yet, but if he can do that, who's safe?
No one.
Nobody is safe at this point in time. It was just this incredible cover for the potential that he has flashed over and over. It's not even a flashing, the potential that he has proven he has over and over and over and over and over again. That is the moment of his rookie season so far for me. Not the 5x5 night. I know he did have the technical 5x5 with the 3-pointers, and that's another thing. The 3-point shot, so this was the okay, he might, I know you're a big Pokemon fan.
Boy.
This was he's gone from Charmander to Charmeleon.
It's already happened. It just blew up right there.
Watch out.
Got to catch them all. Wemby talked about what the difference was in the game.
The difference is 39 assists, 40 assists. So it's this makes the difference in big games. I mean, and also not turning the ball over in the fourth quarter, and just playing with heart. I think it's one of the best ways to come back at home after a month away.
Victor post game talking about the difference it was in the game and discipline, man. Don Harris made a point the other day, and this is just, and I love Don, and I think that he very much gets where the Spurs are. I think that he knows of what he speaks, and we had noticed it. We thought Keldon, was he sick? It's unlike Pop to be pulling these guys with mistakes. Was he reverting, or was this Keldon's kind of sick? This was a couple of games ago, and then we saw Wemby and was it Devin sat down to start the third quarter the other night? Jeremy. So I think that Pop's kind of looking at him like we've been looking at him, and it's starting to manifest. You're no longer rookies, man. At some point, you got to grow up, and you got to put on your big boy pants and pay the price when you make a mistake. I babied you guys long enough. It's time to stop making mistakes. And when you do, you're going to pay the price by watching other guys who at least will effort. And I think we're seeing a little of that.
I'm not willing to come with you this far and say, well, the corporal punishment clearly worked.
It always works, RJ.
Well, and if I'm annoyed at anything, it's that this game happened on the heels of, that administration. And so, this is the whole, Spurs following of the world is just, see, Pop knows what he's doing. Just shut up and trust him. And right now it's kind of hard to argue with that. I will give you that, everybody. You've earned that one, Pop. So good for you. But I mean, I would partly chalk that up to being a little bit of coincidence. Well, that this outing happened, the way it did, with all that. My point is, I don't know that Keldon or Jeremy this morning would say, you know what, man, if not for getting benched, when I did this week, we wouldn't have been as successful as we were on.
Well, no player's ever going to admit that in their heart of hearts. But in their heart of hearts, they do know that maybe I should pay a little bit more attention. And if I'm not getting in trouble for it, if I do throw the ball away now, and I just get a stern look from Pop instead of. As soon as I throw a bad pass, I just see Pop turn and I see a guy stand up and rip his shorts, rip his pants. There's a big difference from knowing that if I make a mistake, man, I'm going to be watching. Then, I might get a halftime reminder. Big difference. And I think that might be the primary thing. You're right, RJ. This is one off game. And what the worst thing about these kind of games is You see what they're capable of when they manage to put together long-term runs of efficiency. They don't have to make every shot, but they stay efficient. They make their plays. There was a significant play last night that all Wemby did was just seal off his defender. He didn't do anything special. He didn't do anything unique. But in the paint, when he was obviously a target in the Devin Victor game, the two-man game I want to talk about here in a second. But Devin turns the corner off of a pick, and he sees Victor open. But what Wemby did at that moment was, okay, I'm not going to get the ball just because of where he is. And he sealed off two defenders and just gave Devin an open lane for a layup. And when I saw that, I thought, that's the two-man game I'm waiting on. It doesn't always have to benefit the receiver of the pass, but those two guys were playing together, and Wemby did something for his other dude to say, yeah, you don't always have to throw to me, but if you notice that I am indeed that weapon, and he was given the ball by Devin a lot, things work well, and it did last night. So maybe that's one more step into getting where you're going. And Stephen, you are right. The cure of all ills, the fixer of all problems in basketball is making shots, and more importantly, making threes. And when you do that, you win a lot of basketball games, and they did. So that in itself is something you can't bottle, but when you get it, enjoy it.
You make a great point, I think, with your example. Now, we talked earlier this week about Derek White on Pardon My Take. He was on with Peyton Pritchard. And we talked about how Derek mentioned the wine stuff with Pop.
Mm-hmm.
One of the more interesting things he talked about that was basketball related was he was asked, like, what's it like to kind of go to the NBA and have to move so much without the ball and be ready, and he was like, that's a really underrated skill to be able to, because everybody comes into the NBA and you're so used to being the guy wherever you were. And all of a sudden you're not. And so you have to play basketball, and basketball isn't just handling the ball. And to your point, it's not even about the end of the play or whatever the case may be. Like there is such a skill involved in the overall orchestra at any given moment, the beautiful game as it relates to this particular team, obviously. And I think that we saw that on display a little bit, obviously, throughout this particular game. And that's great. And you're right. And it is representative of what they can be, and they can't necessarily be. This was, I think, the 100th percentile of who they could be, right? and it worked out that way. I don't think it would be fair or rational to expect this on a consistent basis. You didn't ask, but I'll tell you that they kept up their 20 assist streak.
Oh, here we sit. What are we at? Where we sit?
We are at 118. So we need two more to tie the record. Two games away from a piece of history, but 3 games away from outright banner-hanging history. Next Friday morning, we'll know whether or not the Spurs did it against Sacramento.
Almost there.
Indiana, Houston, and the Kings. And then they're on top of the mountain all by themselves.
We're going to remember that block because of what it felt like. But I think the evening was made by the deep three, the shots that mattered, and Wemby took them. Victor last night talked about not being afraid of the moment and taking the big shot.
I would say it's a requisite for, any player who want to be great, but also, coming into the league already. Most players in the league are they've been through a lot of challenges, and I've been through a lot of challenges in my life and my basketball life. So you have to live with it. It is what it is. So you want to be great or you don't.
That was the moment. Shot.
He just gets it, man. Like there are certain players, whatever team, whatever sport it is, that are just a dream to root for. An absolute dream to be the best, your favorite player on your favorite team. Wemby checks those boxes in like old-timey quill ink, like just thick, beautiful, like it just, and it's really rare that you get these franchise-altering players like this that are also willing to be humble and toe the company line. The first clip we played was him saying, well, we didn't have any turnovers in the fourth quarter. That, an extension of Pop. And there are not a lot of, especially young players, who would come in and who would be willing to do that. we're not quite through the tunnel, but there is a very warm and beautiful light on the other side, and Victor properly represents.
You talked about the tunnel, and Wemby actually was asked about. You brought up two things. First of all, played the whole fourth quarter. We're going to talk about the significance of that when we stay on the Spurs. But before we go there, the way that he played, the way that he closed the game out, the Spurs only have 12 wins. And it feels like if they can continue to do this is the kind of team that can beat some guys. Wemby talked about this could be about the time they're going to play their best basketball. And my question to you is, first of all, let's hear from him. And do you want what could very well be coming?
I think we might come in and have some of our best stretches in the season, because we're over the winter and the Rodeo Road Trip. So now that we're back at home for some time, I think it's the best. The atmosphere was great, and I think this is the best for us to win games.
That's Wemby talking about this could be the beginning of something beautiful. But do we want that now?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think you need these moments. You need these reminders of what the greater goal is and why we're crawling through this tunnel. And last night was a good reminder at what it can ultimately yield by watching Wemby go off, right? Like, there's a lot of teams who decide to crawl out of the tunnel that probably wish they hadn't last year. And, look at what Wemby did. And I think I'm like, man alive, this dude is different.
But we're losing draft picks. We're losing ping pong balls. And as we sit currently, according to Tankathon, Spurs would be sitting at number 3 and also at 7. And a lot does depend on what Toronto does. But,
the Toronto pick is top 7 or 6 protected.
5 or 6. Well, it's protected. So there's nothing we can do about that. Although we managed to beat them, which didn't help our cause a couple of weeks back. So what my point is, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. And I get that this is a team that they better be improving by a lot of different measures. And wins and losses, while it might not be the most important to pop, does kind of matter. And we want to see that. But at the same time, we know this year is done. Charles Barkley and Shaq post-game yesterday, we're talking about what they saw with the Spurs in Oklahoma City. And really a unique conversation. This was Shaq post-game talking about where the Spurs are, what he saw, and what they should be doing in the near future.
My thing with San Antonio, they got to get really busy this summer. We know what caliber player they got. You got to put some players around them. Because all that was cute, but still 12 and 48. But if you get some caliber players around them, I think we could relive the system how it used to be.
That's Shaq. Don't wait, baby. The clock is always ticking. And even if you're MacGyvering it, you better get it taken care of as fast as you can. Patience is for those with nothing else to do.
Well, I mean, there are 22 games left in the season. And this is, when you were a kid, you ever go into the last weekend of a break, right? Like whether it's Christmas break, summer break, you're like, all right, this is the last one. This is the last chance I have to stay up till 4 a.m. and eat Rice Krispy Treats, which are apparently the best snack in the whole country. Right. And but because then, Monday morning comes around, I gotta get back on it. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get back to normal routine. This is your weekend, Spurs. These 22 games, this is your last chance to just kind of mess around and find out, because Shaq is right. I mean, and I don't know any Spurs fan that disagrees. I mean, even the ones who have defended the whole process all season long, this summer, what we have seen, and it was already the case, but Wemby's greatness has only amplified the reality of it all. You got to get off the couch. You have to. You cannot go through another year like this. The difference in competitiveness on a night-to-night basis next season has to be the other end of the spectrum relative to where we're at right now.
First of all, you have to be patient. They're not close to winning. That's because they don't have no players. That's right, but you just can't go. Even if you brought in a great player, they're not going to win next year. Be patient, man.
Charles
They got to
Barkley.
start building, but we're looking. We're probably.
My first.
They're not gonna make the
Yeah, but
playoffs.
you got to make some moves this summer. Though.
Yeah, but they're not gonna make the playoffs next year, more than likely. So you got to say yourself, and our goal is 3 years.
Yeah,
3 years. Let's make the playoffs.
That's post game yesterday. The TNT crew going at it. Barkley preaching patience. 3 years for the playoffs.
Nah.
No.
Do you know? My rule of 3 years is always, it's a rule of 1,000 days. That's how long 3 years is. It's 1,000 days. You're gonna give the Spurs 1,000 days to fix this? No. Like when you put it that way, it sounds so much worse, right? Because you say like, 3 years, that's not that bad. 1,000 days. No way. This season has been way too long. I mean, you cannot. There's no reason. The Spurs have enough draft capital, especially if they continue. If they go back inside the tunnel for the rest of this season. They have enough draft capital to work. They have Wemby. They have Devin Vassell. You can take anything else you want, whoever else. There's no reason for them to not be competitive next season.
What do you think? Sound off like you got a pair. 656-3776, 656-ESPN. You can talk, you can type, whatever you'd like. And if you want to get on the scroll and last forever, you could go to our YouTube feed. Yes, of course, we're talking silver and black. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. This team is capable of winning 3, 4, 5 games, because now here's the problem that the Spurs are going to run into is we're now into
the rest of the season.
Well, I'm just saying we're now running into a lot of teams that don't want to win either.
Okay.
And at this point, we'll win some games that we're not going to expect, and no one expected last night.
You want to hear some drama potentially?
I'm ready for some.
You're a dramatic guy.
I seek it out. Yes.
Final game of the regular season, Sunday, April 14th, is against who? Who do you know? Do you know off the top of your head?
The Los Angeles Lakers. I don't know.
It is against the Detroit Pistons.
Ooh, they saw something coming, didn't they? It's not scripted NBA.
That is the most. Tell me you're not excited about this. This is. You know what, Pop? I think Kelda needs to play point one last time.
See that would be the stumbling block that you could just kind of throw out there to throttle the team. But I think as a Spurs fan, I don't care. I brought that up to just kind of point out the fact that you could play your way down. The fact of the matter is, this is a weak ass draft, and number 12 could turn out to be a Hall of Famer. No one knows in this one. There's a lot of dudes. There's not a lot of great dudes. And as the Spurs sit, I kind of fall on both sides. Barkley, you're right. They're a long way away, but this is the NBA, and I've seen teams turn it quick. I'll say this: in 3 years, the Spurs better be a second round out.
I don't fall on both sides at all here. This is a one-sided thing. I mean, Shaq is right. Team Shaq. I mean, because I agree with Timmy Pratt in the Brigade Bar. It says, LOL, when did 3 years start? Last year, after all the trades and losing season, would be year 1. This season, year 2. Next season would be year 3. So they better be winning next year with that idea. I mean, if it's progressive, you have to at least be competitive next year along that point.
Well, they might be competitive over the next couple of weeks. If you like their prospects, tell us why. Is it something they need to continue to do? You give glory where it needs to be, and Devin probably won't get the just desserts for what he has done, or at least he did last night, because not only did he offer the scoring, but he offered the inside looks that Victor has desperately needed. And the guy, Victor, planted a flag last night. He took a shot when it mattered. Remember, there was about a minute and a half to go. They had a 6-point lead. It felt like it could slip away. And Wemby hits a shot from Isaiah. It wasn't quite the Paris, Texas shot, but it was deep and it mattered. Spurs win. We feel good today. Don't we wish we had some free coffee on the way? We missed that.
Hey, have you seen your son's photo of Wemby last night? This is a great picture.
Yeah, both my boys witnessed it pretty close last night, and I was getting pretty quick updates. Yeah, they had a good time last night. What a great game to be at. Spurs fans needed that last night. From Wemby cussing at us and being happy to be there, to the big shots and the Wemby moment that was the block. We want to hear from you. We'll talk about it more in just about 45 minutes. But coming back, let's talk Cowboys as the combine continues. Running backs, when do they run? Is it this week or today? When do running backs go?
I believe today is skill position players.
So here we go. We might get a chance to see what the Cowboys are doing, or hey, Tony Pollard might be had at a significant discount. What should the Cowboys do, and how do we define all in? We're talking about it next. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 and a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. Then, after your round, join the San Antonio Sports Star gang for the after party, where the Blitz will be live at 90 Proof Bar and Grill, 11880 US Highway 90, just 10 minutes from the Golf Club of Texas. It's San Antonio's Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation, Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Can a president not have sex with a porn star?
Clinton did it. No one had a problem with Clinton doing it.
Or Kennedy, or...
No one had problems with them doing it, right?
It's definitely an ingredient that was injected from the other side. What's the guy's name? The evil guy from Hungary, super rich.
Dracula?
No.
The John Clay Wolf Show, every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price to have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to gawon'twait.com.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Reinigle here. Coming up on the Blitz, the NFL Combine continues out in Indianapolis. John Machota with The Athletic is there. We're going to visit with him at 5:15 and get the latest. Spurs, Wemby, Chet, all of that stuff happened last night in the Frost Bank Center. We will react to that. Rob, RJ, good to see you boys back together.
Yes, sir. It is the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. I am looking at my son's Insta, and it did indeed say Savior on his post. It certainly didn't feel like that last night.
He also called out Chet, and he tagged him. He had a clip of Chet getting posterized.
We teased it, the Cowboys, and I promise we're going to talk plenty of Cowboys. But I do want to get back on the Spurs for just a second, because you brought up something that needs to be addressed. It certainly was wonderful. But not only was it cool to watch, the future, to watch these 2-7-3 dudes out on the three-point line trying to cross each other over, and it happened more than once. I mean, it was it's just an astounding thing to watch when you think about what you're witnessing. But above and beyond just the skill set, they don't like each other.
It's it feels like a throwback NBA rivalry, which is cool, and that they don't like each other for totally fine reasons. You know what I mean? It's not like they have like drama or beef or whatever. It's just like there's something about that dude I don't like, you know.
Well, it struck me, and as we begin this next era, we've hated the Rockets because the Rockets. Come on, and we've hated the Mavericks because it's obvious. I mean, it's the Mavericks, but it appears that our future is not going to be those guys. That the Thunder, if this maintains, that's going to be the team that we really grow to despise.
Oh, but like we need that. Like any all-time great needs that. You need a foil. And I'm not rooting for the Thunder to get any over on the Spurs, but like you need the back and forth for it to be a proper rivalry. And so it can't be I would love it to be a one-sided affair.
But they're way ahead of us. No, I'm not saying we're on the same plane as they are because they're far ahead of us in the grand scheme. But you can kind of get the sense of between Shea and he, and you could pick the third guy, and it seems to be a different dude every night with Oklahoma City. But they've got enough to maintain. We're certainly mimicking them, but the difference I could see last night is in the way the teams were built. I mean, Chet is a unique thing on that team. When he's not in there, there's not a lot of down low, where the Spurs, despite not having really a lot of greatness, there's still guys, and like Zach's still there. I mean, when Chet was gone, the lane was open last night.
My overall takeaway from it all, and I think you agree with this, is if you're an independent party watching this game, right? If you're not a Spurs fan or a Thunder fan, and if you're a fan of a middling NBA team, you're watching Wemby and Chet, and you're thinking like, man, we got to get one of those. Like these dudes are different, like that's the future. And you're just like, it is a race to get one of those all-time amazing physical marvels that can do this, that, and the other. In Wemby's case, the others as well. I mean, you have to have one. We're 5 years away from that being a prerequisite for competition in the NBA.
5 years?
And that might be generous. They're different, man. Like who could you not say that long term Oklahoma City has the best chance at stifling Wemby? Because of Chet's presence. Like nobody else has the proper ammunition at this point in time.
As we sit, we did see a rematch of the finals last year, and it didn't feel like a rematch at all, by the way. It was on the other channel, and Edwin brought it up in the break. Shame on the Nationals for not showing that game last night. I am sure the suits at TNT are questioning their schedule makers. What were they thinking?
I mean, dude, NBA, I'm not going to blame them. An NBA Finals rematch on paper looks great when you're building the schedule.
I get the sense that the schedule makers for TBS TNT are going to remember the fact that they passed up on what was a glorious night between the future of the league. You know what I mean? They missed it.
All I'm saying is on Monday morning when they had their meeting and they were like, okay, remind us what the schedule is this week. And they're like, oh, on Thursday night, we don't have, the 11 win Spurs. They're probably like, okay. You have a little bit of hindsight going on right now. That's all I'm saying.
I do get the oversight, but it should be from now on just an absolute given. Wemby, Chet, of course. I mean, they chose to go with the rematch of the finals last year, which we know is not going to happen again. It's just a chance for us to see Phoenix, play once. Or that. They had the choice. They knew at the beginning of the year that this is only going to happen 5 times. And they chose not to. And I get the sense that will not ever happen again. And I know you have to balance, and especially this time of year when these guys are going to be playing because they're chasing the 65.
We're getting close. And that would be such a bummer at this point, right? To hit the 65 and then just, it feels like you finally got us all to stand up and you're just going to yank the rug out. That would really suck.
What do you make of Shaq saying we got to make some moves?
I think he's 100% right. Shaq for GM. Like that's how I feel. Like there is nothing, not a single thing anyone can say to me to explain or justify a lack of activity in the summer. Nothing. You cannot do anything that would justify more indifference when it comes to roster shaping.
Because it struck me that, there's something that Barkley said that does lend itself to patience. Because when I was looking at, do I want the Spurs to go on a tear that they're capable of going on, that when we saw Wemby plant the flag and do the stuff, and Devin be the player, and Keldon bring the hustle, and despite the fact that our point guard seems to be worse and worse, and Wesley got benched last night, by the way. He got yanked for some defensive mistakes, and Trey did too. Despite all that, they're capable of running some stuff off. At the same time, if they stay where they are, they could end up drafting, 2 guys in the top 10, and the 2 guys that, are most likely to land with the Spurs, as is typical when the mock drafts are put together. The guys are looking at the Euros for Pop to bring in, and the 2 Euros they're looking at, these guys are barely 18. I get what Barkley's saying. If the Spurs are going to go in and do what the typical Spurs thing is kind of make a kind of sideways movement in free agency, and we'll do what we can, but we are built, not bought, baby. And we go draft these 2 dudes. Suddenly 3 years is probably right, because we go from the youngest team in the league to even younger if we draft 2 dudes in the first round that are under 18 years of age that can barely even speak the English language.
2 things. 1, fine, 3 years may be right, but to the commenter's point a little while ago, we're not at year 1. If you want to say that there is a 3-year rule, a rule of 1,000 days, so be it. But we're not at year 1, not in the overall process. We're at the very, very, very least in year 2. But there has to be progression. There has to be movement. You can't just do nothing for 3 years and then be like, oh, poof, at the end of 3 years, like, we're good to go. Second thing was, you were out when this happened, but did you see ESPN's mock this week and who they had the Spurs take?
Was it no?
It was your boy.
Oh, Dillingham?
It was your boy, yeah.
I've seen Dillingham anywhere from 9th all the way up to 5th. It's kind of like your flavor of point guard. It just seems every time you pick up a Spurs mock, or anybody that follows the NBA, it's Nikola Topic and Budzilis, the modest Budzilis kid that's in the G League. It seems like no matter the spot, no matter the sim, no matter the place, whether the Spurs are drafting 3rd or 5th, it's always Topic first. And it seems to be always Budzilis second. And while both of them kind of fill a need, Topic would be the point guard of destiny there. He would be 3 years away. The kid's 18.
This better not. Again, we will all riot. You will riot if they don't do anything in the summer, dude. If do not start this now. Don't ruin this day by they might need another year. Don't ruin this. No.
Well,
they have to move.
And this could be the barometer. If they go full speed ahead, let's go win 3, 4, 5 games in a row. Let's try to finish out these last 30 or 20 or so games with a winning record and scare some teams to death, especially some playoff teams, or we can frighten them just enough. I think it's a worthy chase, but then if that is indeed what they do, I do think we have to recalibrate yet again and follow more of the Barkley method of, I think they're building, not buying.
That's disappointing. That's arrogant. Just to thumb your nose at buying. You can do both. No one's saying you have to only do one. Why do you not want to do both?
Because you can only do one or the other. You can't do both. I mean, if
totally
you're building, it's going to cost you the ability to go pay for a sign and trade deal, which always seems kind of imminent for these free agent types. So you won't have the wherewithal to go get those guys, because maybe you want to hold on to them. And if you can get what it appears the Spurs decided they wanted about the day they started Jeremy Sohan at point guard, when they at that moment threw in the towel for the season, and I say, well, the number 1 pick that the Spurs are looking at is a European point guard. Kind of feel like that's the plan.
I don't like where you're taking this. You're killing the vibe.
Gilbert Padilla on our scroll. There's one thing that I do think where he says that the Spurs take 2 top 10s, they'll still need veteran leadership. However, the Spurs unleashed Wemby. He showed he can elevate his team and teammates. You hit it on the head there, Gilbert. I do think that between the block and the shot, it was him saying, senior leadership. I'm your leader. I'm your guy. There's no need to trade for him. You don't need somebody else to show up and be the dude. I'm the dude.
That's fine, but it doesn't have to be that hard. I mean, you can get him help. There's no shame in giving him help.
Help,
I mean,
is one thing. A superstar like
nobody's saying trade for an alpha. Nobody's saying trade for the alpha, but you get multiple alphas. I mean, like you can have a lot of good basketball players. There's no rule against that. What is this? What? No, we're not doing that. We're not allowing this, Rob. We're gonna trade for Trae Young, and everything's gonna be awesome. Let it be so.
Let us not lose sight of the true goal. We are just 3 games away from breaking the all-time NBA record for consecutive games with 20 assists. Most meaningless stat in NBA history. Therefore, we desperately need it. Just keep sharing the ball. And if your 2 stars continue to get 28 and throw the ball to each other, assists are certainly going to become. The 5x5s will be imminent. I'll tell you what, the Pacers aren't going to offer a whole lot of defense, but the matchup should be good. We'll continue looking forward as the Spurs try to stack wins. And they got 12, baby. They're looking for 13. It could very well happen this weekend. Hey, let's talk some Dallas Cowboys on the other side. Jerry is telling us he's all in. How do we figure what all in means to Jerry? Is he lying to us, or is it just how you define all in? And can we define that with Tony Pollard? We're talking Cowboys next. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, the NFL Combine continues out in Indianapolis. Of course, that always means the Dallas Cowboys are doing something. John Machota is going to join us at 5:15 from The Athletic.
Plus, Spurs, Oklahoma City last night, all the reaction between Chet and Wemby. The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
"This is ludicrous."
But that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is the story of a very special woman. Just a few knew about her superpowers. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is Rob Thompson. I'm here with my brother, Jason, a practicing attorney in San Antonio for 30 years. Jason, what does that mean?
What it means is I've been representing people and families here in San Antonio injured in auto, truck, motorcycle collisions, serious injury, death accidents, taking those families and helping them through some of the worst times of their life. I've been practicing law in San Antonio for so long. I remember when the Cowboys were champions.
Seriously.
And a great staff that handles kind of the blocking and tackling of what it takes to represent clients. There are so many phone calls that need to be made, so many connections you have to have between insurance companies, physicians, opposing lawyers, relationships that you build over 30 years with adjusters, with insurance companies, with defense attorneys, with local judges. When I represent a client, they know that I'm lending my name, my reputation built on 30 years of experience to that client to get them justice.
It's Jason Thompson, alawyerforus.com. Call him at 210-900-0400, alawyerforus.com.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. It's the Callaway Fitting Event happening February 19th through March 3rd. The new Callaway AI Smoke Driver has smart face technology with multiple sweet spots across the face. To reserve your custom fitting by Callaway representatives, swing into your local Edwin Watts Golf Shops or book online at worldwidegolfshops.com. Get there.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Get to Twin Peaks for their beer-battered fish and chips. This beer-battered cod is served with house-made tartar, malt vinegar, and French fries, and score them along with a 22-ounce Miller Lite or Coors Light for just $12. That's every Friday through Easter. Twin Peaks!
The NFL is on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You are on San Antonio Sports Star. Hey, if you didn't get your entry in for Grilling with the Blitz, you got all weekend long. Throw some Tri-County meat on the grill. Upload a photo. Tri-County helps. It doesn't have to be Tri-County. But if you do it well and you win after Joe Reinagel judges and appreciate your meat, if you win a $50 gift card, you will indeed get the very best from Tri-County Meat Market. Upload a picture today or whenever you get the opportunity to tell us what you cooked, how you cooked, and let Jason and Joey evaluate you appropriately. And they're giving away a gift card. They do it every Thursday at 6 o'clock. Do we have Hoser tickets today? Been kind of in a hole.
We should.
Yeah.
We should. I agree with that. We should. So is that a yes?
We do.
We do. Okay, good. The discussion is ongoing about the Cowboys and, all in and all this other kind of stuff. When did Dan Orlovsky give us his diatribe? And Dan, but anyway, about the idea of Jerry lying flat out, that he prefers to be mediocre, that's his sweet spot. Win 12 games, be mediocre, talk in the offseason, promise new things, wash, rinse, repeat. That is indeed the plan. How much of that do you buy, RJ? Because I think you're a little bit more cynical about Jerry than I am.
I have never bought that the Cowboys don't care about winning, that all they care about is making money. That's never been my personal MO. I will say that the last, we'll call it 45 days, have made me reconsider that position more than I ever have, especially when you look at the length of time as a whole. That 30 days ago, Jerry Jones comes out of the Senior Bowl, and I mean, we've been talking about how they're going to drop a carrot. This was the most, carrot cake, carrot topping, Bugs Bunny approved carrot rating, type of carrot you could offer. We're going to go all in. I mean, it was actually such a carrot that it was like fake. You know what I mean? Like, what does that even mean? And so we all spent all the last 30 days like, oh my gosh, blah, 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 this is going to happen, just for them to start walking it back. And it was such a dangerous thing to say, because it was a matter of, okay, if you're really going to do this, we still think it's silly, but at least you've learned a teeny tiny bit of a lesson. But to do it like this is actually just cruel, to twist people like that. The people who want to love you so badly that they're willing to, do something that they know is dangerous and against their own, sort of well-being as a fan, just for you to sucker punch them at the very end. It's disappointing.
I heard you and James talking, was it yesterday? All the days have run together for me. About Jerry's intention when he says all in. And I'm down with James Pledger. I agree with James. I think that Jerry does believe he's all in because he's about to spend a whole bunch of money. I think he'll spend as much money as any NFL team does in the offseason, and he'll be signing a wide receiver to a whole bunch of money. He's got a linebacker he's going to have to pay a whole bunch of money. And then there's Dak Prescott. So with Dak, do you think all into Jerry is, I'm about to make him the highest paid football player in the history of the world, and I'm about to do it over a decade or, however long it takes? Or is all into him, I'm going to pay him even more, but a really short-term deal?
I respect Pledge's take, but I disagree with it. And Joe mentioned this as well on Twitter to Pledge. You have to look at the whole quote of what Jerry said. So the first part is, I would anticipate with looking ahead at our key contracts that we'd like to address, we will be all in. So that's the hill Pledge is on. Oh, hey, well, he said our contracts, whatever. This is the second half, and I'm quoting verbatim. It will be going all in on different people than you've done in the past. We will be going all in. We've seen some things out of some of the players that we want to be all in on. Yes, I will say that you will see us this coming year not build it for the future. It's the best way I've ever said, and that ought to answer. So Jerry's the one who offered, it will be different. different players, and it won't be for the future. I mean, and that's the way that All In presents itself. And he knew that. People can say what they want to say about Jerry. He absolutely knew what he was doing, the can of worms he was spilling by offering that out. And when they don't do anything in free agency, people are going to have a complete and totally valid reason to be pissed off at them.
Okay, and we'll talk about this on the other side of the break about doing something in free agency, because do we quantify signing your own player as doing something in free agency at a significant discount?
Like if you're leaning on the semantics of all this, like you've gone down the wrong path. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're gonna if you're already prepared, I mean you know how lawyerese is. You know what I mean? Like if you're already prepared to counter an argument based on, well, if you look at the fine print of what I said, blah, blah, blah. And this checks. I mean, that's a loser's mentality. And that was done so that Jerry could ride the wave of everybody talking about being all in, just for him to wind up literally correct in a court of law.
What does the Mike Zimmer just a 1-year deal tell you?
I mean, better than anybody that I was not, I was not down with that process. And it tells me that they're punting. I mean, and I don't say that in a hot takey sort of way, but they know that this season is somewhat DOA. And they were like, hey, Mike, this is DOA. You want to hop in? He was like, yeah, my grandkids live there. I can hang out, it'll be fine.
Or what about the idea that I'm operating under, that everybody knows this whole thing's going to blow up, that in 1 year, this ship is going to sink, or it's going to be refitted, retro changed. Everything about what we know about the Cowboys a year from now will be different, including quarterback, including head coach, including defensive coordinator. And the idea of being all in is kind of like being the Expendables. It's either now or never. Is that you think his idea of all in?
But that's also a mischaracterization of the term all in. When now if we want to be literal, when you think, like, when you go all in, the purpose is to double up, right? That's the actual potential return on investment, is to
or
double
lose
up.
it all. I mean, I'm pushing it to the middle. I am all in.
But this is, if you let Dak Prescott go at this in a contract year, it isn't like an if, like he's gone, because he has the opportunity to hit the open market. So we're actually just going to go we're just riding it out. We're saying this is our last ever at this iteration, and whatever happens, happens. But it's not an all-in. It's not representing a potential doubling up return on investment. This is, and look, we talked about Michael Gehlken, and we'll talk about it on the other side of the break. But Michael Gehlken, in his article yesterday, which I thought was a really interesting perspective on a lot of things, he said that a Dak Prescott extension is not a given. And I will tell you, if my opinion means anything, for Michael Gehlken to say that is significant.
It is not awesome. Are you kidding me? Michael Gehlken, we might not see an extension. Dak might very well be playing out the string. And you could be chasing
more Wemby highlights.
Or you only pay $5 million for a $10 million back. We're talking about it next. You're on San Antonio Sports Star.
.94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic is set Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas, with plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. Then, after your round, join the San Antonio Sports Star gang for the after party, where the Blitz will be live at 90 Proof Bar and Grill, 11880 U.S. Highway 90, just 10 minutes from the Golf Club of Texas. It's San Antonio's Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation, Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
The Apostle Paul writes in a letter to the Ephesians, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen." If there is anything human beings need, it is a shot of affirmation daily. The beautiful thing is that it's not all that difficult to do, and there are lots of ways of doing it, from compliments to encouragement. Just as an example, think for a minute of how something like affirmation can and would impact your spouse. When you affirm your spouse, it changes your attitude about them, because you've focused on something positive. You're looking at their strengths. At the same time, it strengthens those best qualities in them because you have brought them out into the light. Affirmation also affects the way people think about your spouse, from friends all the way down to your children. This is Mark Absher in the MacArthur Park Church of Christ, hoping you take advantage of opportunities to affirm the people around you. Visit our church online at macarthurchurch.org. The MacArthur Park Church of Christ, connecting God and people.
At Progressive, we love sports and saving you money, so we bundled them together.
Top of the seventh looks like a pitching change as they've set up for a corner kick. The two black belts have entered the mat, and the slider is low and away. He heads the ball to midfield. This is quite a kumite. Here comes the roundhouse. Has it got enough gas to get out of here? Unbelievable! They've bundled their home and auto insurance with Progressive. Kick savings pitch karate.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 15% when you buy 10 or more select primed finger joint boards. Plus, save an extra 5% every day on eligible purchases when you use your Lowe's business credit card. Visit us for the materials you need. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. 5% offer subject to credit approval. Exclusions and terms apply. See store at lowes.com/credit for details. U.S. only.
Get ready. This week, Staples has deals so good, you're going to want to sit down. Are you sitting? I'll wait. Great. Right now, during Staples Sit-a-thon, you can save up to $180 on select chairs. That's up to $180 off desk chairs, up to $180 off computer chairs, and up to $180 off gaming chairs. So hurry into Staples now for the Staples Sit-a-thon and grab a seat or two. Ends 3/2. In-store only. See associate for details.
When you think San Antonio sports, think 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Your home for the Cowboys. KTFM Floresville and SASportsStar.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NFL, top free agent running back Saquon Barkley has targeted the Houston Texans as his top free agent destination, according to Aaron Wilson of KPRC. According to Barkley has reached out to Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud. In other Texans news, Texans Pro Bowl tackle Laramie Tunsil had knee surgery following the end of the season, according to NFL Rap reports.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
How good do you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, gather around. We got something to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You talk about Star, that's RJ Ochoa. He's the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, an all-around wonderful human being. I'm Rob Thompson coming at you with Victor with a mic in his hand. And on the other side, there's the Easy E, Edwin Hefner, taking us till 10. We're glad you're with us today. The combine is in full effect. Nothing like being your own scout. Well, I had my checklist out yesterday. I was evaluating defensive tackles and edge rushers. There's this kid from Penn State. I kind of like him. His name is Chop. You seen this guy?
Pork Chop.
Well, yeah, he was Pork Chop. Now he's just Chop.
Yeah, I mean, so
that guy's got some game. I appreciated him. That's about all I know about what I saw yesterday. Is some guys pick up cones faster than other guys.
Yeah, that's true.
And that matters evidently.
The combine is off to a bit of a contentious start this morning. I don't know if you've seen this.
No, I have, but I don't know exactly what I've seen. What's going on?
Well, Marvin Harrison Jr., he of Ohio State fame,
probably the best player in this draft, regardless of position,
was scheduled to have a session this morning, a media session at the podium. Did not show up. Nobody knows why yet.
So here we go. You know, I hear from sources inside the Harrison camp that he doesn't even like football. I have a friend who lived next door to his mailman, and he heard that Marvin just, might not even want to play football.
Marvin better get used to. He should look up some property in the Phoenix area. That's just all I'll say.
This is a weird time as a Cowboy fan because the Cowboys have some money to spend. The salary, the cap numbers in, they're up $30 million. They have the opportunity to kind of completely revamp their running back room. And the thought was that they're going to one way or the other. But it won't be with a franchise tag for sure on Pollard. But that's because the market's so bad. And it would be easy to bring Pollard back. He sat with us, RJ, back. It's been 3 weeks ago. Said he wasn't even right till second half of the season. And the numbers tell us that once he did get right, the numbers were good enough. For $5 million,
I would love to have Tony Pollard back at $5 million.
But okay, now let's stop right there. Now if we're gonna do it, let's do it kind of like my wife makes me do it when I want to go buy something that probably doesn't need to be bought.
Why do you need
it? Why? And is there anything else out there for less the price, and maybe not all of what you want, but for most of what you want? Is there anything else out there? If we're shopping, let's do some shopping. Let's compare apples to apples and then apples to oranges and see if the fruit salad we're trying to make will be good. So what do we love about Tony Pollard? What's the thing that when we franchised him, we kept him around because of what?
I'm going to answer that question with a question.
Now?
What is the last position that you generally target in your fantasy football drafts?
The last position? Quarterback.
Yeah, last position you feel.
Kicker, but even then you take a flyer.
Of the money position.
Quarterback is the last position I normally chase because there's so many of them just alike. And I'm going to go down the path just with you. Okay, so yeah, I'm
Can you explain that logic? It's the last one you get. You don't care if you get Kirk Cousins or whoever the case may be. Why? Well, can you elaborate on that, please?
Because they're all essentially the same guy. I mean, there's levels of player.
So
I could draft at 15 or I could draft at 30. And the difference between the 15 and 30 is nominal. We're talking about 10 yards here or there and maybe a couple of catches extra. But at the end of the day, my points are going to be the same.
So for relatively the same production, you'd rather pay a much lower price. That's the logic at hand here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is. I mean, you are, for whatever reason, in love with Saquon. And I'm glad you are, because he'll probably wind up a Houston Texans. We'll get to talk about him a lot, one way or another. But the difference in price, you're going to have to pay, first, second round fantasy football money for that when you could pay 9th, 10th round money and get Tony Pollard.
But
that's the phenomenon that
goes back to my question though. Towards. Why Tony Pollard over everybody else that I could get for $5 million?
It doesn't have to be Pollard, but that's the range. And Pollard happens to be somebody who is going to be in that range. It's the middle of the Venn diagram. The two circles here are $4 to $6 million per year, and running backs who are going to be at that price point. Tony Pollard, Devin Singletary. I think Austin Eckler will want more. Josh Jacobs wanted the bag. Saquon wanted the bag. Derrick Henry is somebody who's going to want to be part of a more of a solo venture sort of thing. So those players don't kind of fit with what the Cowboys need to do, the position they find themselves in, where they need somebody that fits that price point, somebody who is going to be comfortable with a shared workload, and somebody who's available. Tony Pollard happens to live in the middle of all that.
What's more important to the Cowboys
just to reiterate what we have said for a long time, Tony Pollard also is a good, in free agency, you want to buy low, right? You want to buy low, like you want to, maybe somebody who's coming off of a bad year, you can get for cheap, whatever, this and that, et cetera. Tony Pollard is somebody who you can objectively believe in, who you can say, hey, the first half of the season last year, he was kind of coming back from that injury, but week 11, he told Rob and RJ on the Morning Huddle while in Las Vegas that was when he felt like himself. And from that point on, he was the highest graded rusher according to Pro Football Focus. Like he's a good buy low candidate on top of all the other things.
So if Jerry signs him for a deal, does that signify this all-in idea? Even though he got him at a bargain?
We even said that about Derrick Henry. Like when people were still on the high of this all-in comment, which never made sense to me. But people were like, "Oh, they're gonna go sign Derrick Henry now." And my response to that was always like, "You mean to tell me the like grand example of going all in is signing a free agent like that?" Like we're gonna throw a parade because they sign a free agent running back. We're gonna qualify that as being all in. Well, all in is something like, you need to find your equivalent of like the Eagles trading for AJ Brown. That's going all in. Like that is, putting your money where your mouth is. This isn't that in any way, stretch or form.
For me,
or wouldn't be that.
And I've been waiting. I got what I wanted in the exit of DQ and Quinn. It didn't happen the way I wanted.
You got your blood.
But I didn't get any blood. I just got a Dan Quinn in the rearview mirror kind of moment. That's it.
You got the little like they needed the finger prick.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind
about
of
all. So yeah. I got that one way or the other, and I think that I'm going to continue to get in little bites. And I think that there's a chance, and you thought it was early, that what we will get is a carrot, that he will go get somebody for us to say, well, at least he did that. And if we're talking about a half price Tony Pollard, there could be at least he did that for that. And, if it's built into your budget, even 2 years ago, that running back's going to cost you $10 million, and suddenly you could go get a Saquon for probably $10 million. I just don't understand why you wouldn't get it. Now, the reason I bring that up is we like to talk about sources that you trust, sources that say things that you go, well, that's the other side. That's obviously Michael Gelkin. Is that and a writer of great esteem, that when he says things, the sources are double checked, and it can be taken for the most part as the gospel according to whomever it's being attributed to. And it very much appears, according to Gelkin, that the Cowboys haven't even begun to try to do anything while everybody's gathered in Indianapolis.
So yesterday, Gelkin tweeted out, "Here at the Combine, the Cowboys have fewer scheduled meetings with agents than in years past," because the Combine is about more than just the draft prospects. "There is no hint that they're on the precipice of a high-priced free agency flurry that would resemble what most associate with the all-in buzzword." And I think that part is actually going over people's heads. And that's where you're like weird defensive Jerry is like, I don't know, you put your, the left side of your pants on first today or something, but like, Jerry knew what he was doing when he offered that. He did. He said, "Hey Rob, here's a carrot," and then he gave you a toothbrush. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the old rope-a-dope. And so Jerry knew what was typically associated with the all-in, and it's what Gelkin said: the high-priced free agency flurry. And not only remember the first part of what Gelkin said. Not only are they not having a lot of active conversations with agents, they're having fewer than in the past. So even if you considered them to always be all in, which is how Stephen Jones defended his father, they're less all in by that objective measurement in the here and now. So they've actually they're further out. They're hokey poking out. You know what I'm saying? Like this is it's actual regression in this sense.
Maybe they're just chasing one guy, just one. I don't know who that guy is.
Rob, why? What is the spell that you are
I keep
under?
thinking that I know Jerry understands how to read a room. He has a lot of thoughts.
You're actually wrong there. He doesn't know how to read a room. He knows how to stand at the front of the room. Those are different skills.
But either way, he's kept our attention, whether by ignorance or genius, for this long. And the reason he's managed to do that is every time I'm about to check out, every time I'm done with this, there is an Amari Cooper trade. There's a Roy Williams thing. There's something where you go,
it is
maybe. So I'm holding out hope that that history will again repeat itself. That the all-in idea might lead him to do something ridiculous or something genius. I don't know. I mean, He's done
It's
it in the
8 a.m.,
past.
Rob. You've been awake for a long time.
I get it. I
And
know.
so, wake up to the realization that this was said to fool you. This was the squirrel. That's all it was. That's all that there isn't. Sometimes we assign deeper meaning to things in life. We're chasing. Oh man, this song came on and it happens to me, and it happened to come on when the shooting star was going on beside me and everything like that, and my cup of water was the perfect chilly temperature to match the way the song made me feel. No, it was just a thing he said. It was a thing he said to keep you calm.
Okay.
So that you would not continue to freak out, which is what the temperature of things was when he said it.
And I get it. And maybe he's speaking first and then going back and checking his notes, and then we'll act on whatever the hell he happened to have said. But I continue to hold out hope. Now, one of the ways he could appease me, and it could appease a lot of Cowboy fans, is don't give Dak a penny.
I don't, my thoughts on whether or not this should be done are well documented.
Right. But
within Gelkin's article that he wrote yesterday morning, which was different than his tweet about the free agency flare stuff. And again, a big shout out to Michael Gelkin.
Yeah.
He wrote an article talking about, Mike Zimmer and how he signed a 1-year deal with the team. That had not previously been reported. So Gelkin was the first to note that. So now Mike Zimmer is on the same timeline as Mike McCarthy, as most of the other staffers, et cetera, et cetera. And Dak Prescott is currently entering the final year of his contract. CeeDee Lamb is currently entering the final year of his contract. Micah Parsons is currently entering the final year of his contract. Now, a few things will happen to change that, but in a literal sense, those things are all technically true. Micah will have his 5th-year option picked up. CeeDee will likely get his extension. But within all the things, Gelkin didn't touch on CeeDee, didn't touch on Micah, but he said that an extension with Dak Prescott is not a given. Again, if most people said that, I'm not the video game meme sitting up in my chair taking it seriously. But for Gelkin to say that this close to the new league year, as of today is March 1st, we're 10 days away from the legal tampering period. We're 12 days away from it beginning in earnest.
Wow. For
him to say that with less than 2 weeks to go is I always mess this up. DEFCON 1 is the most dangerous.
Yeah,
right?
you count down 5, 4, 3, 2.
Right. We're at like 3.
Mm-hmm.
This is this is the Poseidon filling up with water, and it's almost upside down, and we're about to be in that scene where we all have to hold our breath and go the whatever it is 45-second journey to get to the other side.
That might be the all in. It's just kind of an inverse all in. It's an all out.
But that's not all. I mean,
are you kidding? That's enough for me.
At the very least, he doesn't understand what these words mean. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not an all-in thing. And that would be the most. People think that they want this. There are so many Cowboys fans who are foolish enough to have convinced themselves that they want this. They want to live in purgatory. Fire up The Bad Place. I think it's on Netflix. You don't want to live there. All right. Or The Good Place is what it was called, but it was The Bad Place. Like, watch that show. You do not want to be where you think you want to be. You do not want to chase this purgatory. I guarantee you, the Chicago Bears, the Atlanta Falcons, the Minnesota Vikings, the Washington Commanders, the Indianapolis Colts for the most part, the Denver Broncos, they would gladly trade lives with you. Like you are not in the prison that you are outlining yourself to be in. And I'm not saying that you're in the best possible situation either, but you do not want to F around and find out what the other side of this result ultimately will be.
My daddy always said, just because the grass is greener on the other side doesn't mean it's got septic issues. We're going to come back on the other side talking about the rest of the league. The quarterback chase is getting kind of interesting. And also the rules committee is gathering. We might be seeing the end of a football institution. The chain gang might be done. If they're getting rid of that, what else should they do? Let's look at the league in general because it's fun. We'll be right back here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. A kinetical water softener is an interesting thing to talk about on a regular basis. And more as my friends are moving around and buying and building new homes, the subject of water softeners has come up. And in conversation. And one of the things I love telling folks that are building a home is, man, start with a Kinetico so you know the pipes are going to be clean, stay clean. No worry about it from then on out if you're building. If you're just moving into a house, eliminate the problems or the concerns. Get the Kinetico in, get the warranty, and have the last water softener you're ever going to own. Because at the end of the day, while the Kinetico offers you the water you're chasing and makes your skin softer and your hair, we've talked about it over and over, that white stuff on your dishes and all that go away. At the end of the day, it's about protecting your investment, whether it be your home, the most expensive and most important thing you're ever going to own, or your investment in your family, making sure they're safe and taken care of. Kinetico is there for you. And when you need them, after you've become one of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Kinetico customers all around San Antonio and the central Texas area, you're going to find out that they're there for you in the long run. Kinetico has a deal for you right now. If you want one in your home, prove it to yourself. Call 656-PURE, P-U-R-E. The Kinetics will come out and put a Kinetico water softener in your home for 90 days to see and to prove to you what I'm telling you. It's the last water softener you're ever going to own. On that day 91, on that 4th month, when you buy, and you will, you'll be one of us, a Kinetico water softener customer. Go to KineticoSA.com for all the details. Remember 656-PURE. Hey, do yourself a favor. Put a Kinetico in your home today, and I know you're going to be thanking me later.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 and a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. Then, after your round, join the San Antonio Sports Star gang for the after party, where the Blitz will be live at 90 Proof Bar and Grill, 11880 US Highway 90, just 10 minutes from the Golf Club of Texas. It's San Antonio's Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation, Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
This is Rob Thompson. I'm here with my brother, Jason Thompson, a lawyerforus.com.
I'm a lawyer for you. I've helped you.
Yes, he has, and many others here in San Antonio. And that's why I'm so glad I get a chance to talk to you today about what happens when you get into an accident.
It's overwhelming for everybody involved. You have this paralysis of what to do next, who to talk to, how do you get medical care, or you're in the hospital and who's going to pay for this? It's this swirl of anxiety, and many times it's even worse than the injury itself. You have to help people through that situation. And I tell every client the same thing. Don't worry. I've got this. I will take care of this. Just worry about your family. Just worry about getting healthy. If I can do that for you and maximize your recovery, you stay in business, you keep clients. And for 30 years, I've kept every client I've ever had. I don't lose clients. I represent their family and friends because that's how seriously I take my job.
A lawyerforus.com. You can find him at 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Jason Thompson, a lawyerforus.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Here's another remarkable success story from QC Kinetics. This one from Chad, who hurt his knee at the gym one day, and it just kept on hurting for months.
From my high school football and wrestling days, I already had a little bit of damage in there, but this just sent it over the edge.
Chad tried traditional treatments with no improvement when he turned to the non-surgical regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics.
It was really fascinating how they did their work, and the science behind it was very intriguing, and it works. Extracting the cure out of my own body blew my mind. It's like I'm brand new again. It was fantastic.
That's because the QC Kinetics natural biologic treatments use your body's own healing power to restore damaged tissue in your hips, shoulders, back, and knees, providing long-lasting relief.
Now I'm back at the gym. I'm 100% feeling great.
If you're tired of suffering with pain from arthritis or injury, call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210 571-0318.
The Jim Rome Show.
Hey, Jim Rome here, and back in the military city of San Antonio.
Weekdays at noon on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Back in the saddle again, and it's Friday. That's the only way to do it. Work 2 days a week. Close out a Friday, head into a weekend. F1 season is beginning. We get a race tomorrow, if you're an F1 fan. I understand there's a team draft that is going on.
Yeah. So I'm a Ferrari fan myself.
So are you a fan? See, I think we have a fundamental difference. So you're a fan of the vehicle, of the car, and the not the
livery,
driver.
baby.
The livery, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it works out. I happen to be a Charles Leclerc fan as well. I know you are like in love with Carlos Sainz. I'm cool with him.
Carlito.
I'm cool with Carlos. But if he were to move, and I've been a Ferrari. So like I would say most Americans, Drive to Survive got me into the sport, and so I'm a sucker, Rob, for pageantry and epic and, history. And so Ferrari just kind of, checks all those boxes for me. It was after I chose them that I found out they were kind of the Dallas Cowboys of this whole thing, what with like incredible heartbreak for a very long
Schumacher
time.
For a long time. They were great.
Well, that's what I'm saying, like built on the shoulders of greatness in the past, but haven't really lived up to it in the present. So Ferrari is my vehicle, and for my birthday, my wife gave me a Ferrari Polo. So now I'm stuck. You know what I mean? Like I can't move. So
no,
that's
you're not allowed. By the way, I'm just going to tell you, you're not allowed to wear your Ferrari Team Ferrari. I'm sure it's red polo.
It's actually black.
It's black and Pumas. Not allowed to do that.
I will say I also love the line that I think it was Enzo Ferrari said a long time ago. When he was asked why like everything they did was red. Have you ever heard this before?
No.
He said, when you ask a little boy to draw a car, it's always red.
That's true.
What a like badass way to put that.
That's truer words never said. It's great
anyway,
to dig into the F1. It's the beginning of the season. We're drafting, so I understand that. And we're going to talk some NFL, by the way, and I want you to ponder this before we do. One of the rites of passages for any father who has ever taken his kid to a football team, playing flag or whatever, is to work the chains. And that might very well be gone in the NFL ranks. We'll talk about that in a second. But with the F1, I understand we had a draft. We're drafting our teams as the season is beginning. We got 25. How many races we got this year?
I actually don't know.
It's as long a season as any professional sport. It's going to go on all year long.
24 races.
24 races. They've added another one. Just if you're just joining us, Team Red Bull maintains its greatness. Max Verstappen retains his title. Their team principal got off on sexual harassment charges, and it appears that they are charging forward. Though none of us, it appears, have drafted a Red Bull driver or car. Joe Reinagel chose the Aston Martin because it's cool, though he doesn't know the culprits there. You went with Ferrari because you're a Ferrari guy. I'm a Carlos Sainz guy. So I'm kind of in on Ferrari too, but I'm not going to go there.
So, well, here's the thing. And just so everyone is aware, the way Formula One racing works, there are two competitions happening simultaneously. Yes. There's team-wide competitions, which is the Constructors Championship.
Yes.
And then there is individual races or in the individual competition, which is the World Championship. I forget the exact name. But so you could actually, we should have them pick drivers. Jason, I don't know if Jason picked a team yet. I think Joe's going to probably go with Fernando Alonso because I kind of shied him away from Lance Stroll. So if you want to pick Carlos as your individual driver for an individual award, we'll keep track of these all season long. I think
that's a better way to do it, is driver and constructor. Yes.
You got to pick a driver and
I'm taking Sainz. I'm taking Carlos Sainz as a driver, though he will finish a distant 5th, 6th. He's not going to win it, but I'm going to take him because he's my guy.
As far as drivers are concerned, because we have to, I want to get in before Jason and Joe. We'll have them pick their. Well, Joe already picked his team, but we'll have them touch on the blitz. I'm going to go with. This is tough. I'm going to go with Lando Norris. That's my driver.
I like Lando.
I'm going with Lando Norris. Yeah, from McLaren. So I've got Lando. You've got Carlos. We'll let Jason and I guarantee you Jason picks.
And I'm going to go with as far as the team.
Mike Tristan let us. Oh, of course. I as I said that, Mike let us know in the brigade ride that Jason picked Red Bull on the.
Oh, he did. Of course. There you go. Of course. Okay. So, but I'm going to go with Team Petronas. I'm going to go with the Mercedes vehicle. I think for the Constructors Cup, and I'm going to go with my driver because I know I'm not going to win with my driver. I should be taking Hamilton. That's the wise move because he's got 2 more years in this. One more.
Well,
year,
you'll benefit if you're taking Mercedes anyway. So
yeah, I'm going to go for Constructors Cup. I Petronas in the Mercedes ride as Lewis Hamilton waves goodbye to Mercedes and jumps in to Carlos Sainz's ride. We think next year in Ferrari, which will be a fundamental shift. It's like Brady going to the Buccaneers. What that's going to be like.
Sure.
Let's talk about football as we just got a minute or two. I teased it. I want to talk about this in total because there's a lot in here. Looks like the NFL is moving toward some things that they can take out of human control and putting it into robots' eyes or something akin to that. They're getting rid of a very tried and true part of the football game, the chain gang. What else should they fix? And we'll look around at the quarterback draft too. NFL talk in its totality coming around the corner. That's what we do here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic is set Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas with plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. Then, after your round, join the San Antonio Sports Star gang for the after party, where the Blitz will be live at 90 Proof Bar and Grill, 11880 U.S. Highway 90, just 10 minutes from the Golf Club of Texas. It's San Antonio's Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation, Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Hey, dude, you didn't tell me that you wrecked it, and it looks wrecked. How much was the insurance check? $8,000. Yeah, did y'all spend it on fixing it, or did you put it in your pocket? Well, my cousin. Just stop there. Just stop there. All I needed to know is $8,000 insurance and a cousin.
The John Clay Wolf Show, every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
My name is Jessica. Years ago, I was diagnosed with a thyroid condition. I slept all the time, was fatigued, had no energy, and a bad attitude. Now I've lost 50 pounds and I'm still losing. My medications have been scaled back. My emotions are stable and I have lots of energy. People at work say I'm happy, perky, and my husband says he's not walking on eggshells around me any longer. The Institute for Functional Health changed my life.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy, blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Good morning, everybody. Jason Minix here from The Blitz. We have made it to Friday. The Blitz starts at 2. We'll have the latest from Indianapolis at the NFL Combine and what the Cowboys have said to this point throughout the week, who they might be looking at. Plus, we'll react to Spurs Thunder from last night. Rob, RJ, you boys have a great weekend. You've earned it.
As have you, Jason Minix. The Blitz will get going today at 2 as they reflect on last night's extraordinary win. We're going to talk some Spurs in just about 15, 20 minutes. But we got a lot to talk about in the NFL. I cannot wait. I want to do this in the 9 o'clock. I want to get your opinion on the different quarterbacks.
Okay.
Because as we get closer and closer, this is very intriguing to me. I haven't seen a draft with this many different styles and types and possibilities at quarterback in quite a bit. I don't think it's that. What's the legendary draft? Was that 83? Was the greatest quarterback draft ever? It's not that, but it as far as the different types of quarterbacks and their ages and things that they've done, there's a lot of teams that could, if they do this right, could really benefit from this.
Yeah, the 83 draft, there's a documentary about it. I highly recommend. I don't think it's a 30 for 30. I think it was one of those like, well, it's I don't know what it's an ESPN produced thing, but it's like, remember they have like the SEC shorts or whatever. They have different names, but it's called From Elway to Marino. John Elway, famously the first.
You mean good friend of the show, Dan Marino?
Well, I mean, I was going in chronological order, but yeah, yes. Dan Marino, whose pen I kept.
Yes.
And there's a picture of you pointing at it,
and it's pointed at your thieving ways,
Danny boy. But yeah, the NFL, Rob,
we teased it forward, and this is it looks like the NFL is going to get rid of the chain gang, which finally. But in the grand scheme of things, around the rest of professional sports, what other sports have already adopted technology, cameras, cyclops, whatever that have taken away the human element? So I know tennis, right? They've done it.
Tennis does a great job with measuring whether a ball is out of bounds or not. I mean, like you're watching Wimbledon or whatever. I mean, obviously Wimbledon's like the peak of it all, but like they're there's a moment of like, oh, we're gonna assess it, and then they use the like super computer generated 3D like rendering to just show, and they show like like a fraction, like one of the little fuzz hairs, was out of bounds. Boom. Yeah, and so it's the Premier League and worldwide soccer at large also does this similar sort of way to determine whether or not something was completely a goal. You have to cross all the way past the white line to be a goal, so they can do that. Meanwhile, we use index cards and chains, rickety old chains assessed by 60-year-old men. No disrespect. Now, baseball's
trying to do
results
pitching,
of
right?
Yeah, baseball has robots that can calculate pitching as well,
but they're not using it. But they have it, and you get the sense at some point it probably will happen. But anything
basketball
else?
Doesn't really have this.
No, they don't really need it. There's nothing in basketball that really, that I can think of that is required. But when you look at the football game, a couple years back when we were affiliated with a league that died in under 2 months, one of the technologies in it was the way to keep track of the ball. There's a chip in the ball, and there was going to be something in the ground, and you would know immediately placement of the ball. There'd never be a question. Is this, in a sense, what the NFL is going to be doing?
I think that's the goal. I think the goal is to have some sort of, use whatever Terminator words you want, laser,
lasers,
GPS, something like that to say, I mean, and this becomes, how you measure it, like, oh, the tip of the ball has breached, this whatever is breached, and not even just first down measurements, but the end zone,
sideline,
I mean, I mean, well, the sideline is different because you can catch the physical ball out of bounds as long as your feet are in bounds.
Right,
You know
but
what I'm saying?
but you could. There's ways like it always astounded me that the way that referees calculate a punt out of bounds. Like
That,
they
I
just,
think,
it's just
oh,
like a
man,
guess.
Rob,
Like,
dude.
I'm just going to walk until I feel like, yeah, that's about right. That's how it's always felt like. So there has to be some kind of technology where we can really, really tell when the ball went outside the white line. Because I've never felt like that was a very, very accurate portrayal. Also, I remember when Walter Payton, this is a long time ago, retired, every time he got tackled, he'd lay on his back and he'd put the ball over his head. And every time he'd put the ball over his head. And he said he always felt like over the course of a season, he gained an extra 100 yards. But just every time he rolled over, he put the ball over his head. So I always felt like that's a little random. Or every time a center picks up the ball to snap it and he's moving it over here and over here, I always felt like that was a little random too. So it will tighten up some of that, I hope.
It has to. I mean, think about plays like the tush push, where you can't quite tell there's a big scrum, stuff like that. You'll be able to say, oh, the final. I mean, it also is weird because to the Walter Payton point, like, where is the ball when the player is down?
Right.
I think the next evolution of things, and this would be sick, is if we can apply that, because in the sports we talked about, in tennis and soccer, football worldwide, the matter at hand is simply the ball and where the ball is at that, because you're measuring that moment in time. Was it out of bounds? Is it a goal? Is it fair? Is it foul? I think we could also use a similar technology in baseballs, which they do, by the way, to measure velocity and things like that. Like, so they do apply this there as well. But you should also use it to measure whether something is fair or foul, although the foul posts are different, ballpark to ballpark. But what I was going to say is it would be cool if we developed the same technology and put it in knee pads and cleats and things like that, so that we could coordinate and say, at this moment in time, the ball is here, the cleats are here, you know what I mean? Like, and we're completely digitizing and rendering all this information to be able to prove, like, oh, was his feet down, or were his feet down? We can see the blade of grass kicking out, you know what I mean? Or, based on our calculations, even though we can't see it, his knee pad is down right here, and that's where the ball is. That's where we're going to spot the ball. I mean, but
it's there. The technology is available. I think we're right on the same path. I get the sense that it's this fear of the unknown, but once we figure out that it's not terrible to be completely accurate, I mean, to really be able to chase that, and the technology is available. So the slippery slope is, once we do that, then suddenly maybe some of the other things that we just didn't want a robot or a computer or a camera to take control of, we find out that maybe it makes things a little bit more precise.
The amount of money that's at stake requires the accuracy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you just can't get by anymore doing something like that.
And Miggy, you're right. On our scroll, brought it up. Bring it back up there, Edwin. You're thinking about the same thing I am. While they're fixing some rules, while we're fixing stuff, can they go ahead and fix this out of the end zone rule? This touchback stupid rule. Is this over with? Have we done this yet?
It is a stupid rule, but they are keeping it for this year at the very least.
We got to fix it.
Rich Eisen, who we talked about a little while ago, he has said for years, and I think he's right, it is someday going to happen in the Super Bowl. And that is it. I mean, if you're an NFL fan, you feel like, oh, well, it happened in the playoff game between the Chiefs and the Bills, and that was a big enough deal. The difference in worldwide stage between even a massive NFL playoff game and the Super Bowl is so night and day different. And if this happened in the Super Bowl, it would die. It would immediately die. Like, because the world would recognize how stupid it is.
Also, I think we should figure out some way to take the referee's point of view out of the extra point and field goals underneath the goalpost.
Oh, Rob, see, you're killing it, man. Like, because I wouldn't have even thought about assessing the punt thing. That was a great point, and you're right. Like, let's just help their necks. They're like,
I mean, seriously, I mean, they're looking up in the darkness and the snow. Now, I know there's ways to figure it other ways, but it's those little things that when we think about how can we save some time and make up for some time that might cost in other ways, you do this and suddenly that replay that took a little bit longer to get absolutely right doesn't feel so painful, because we saved about 9 minutes throughout the game of having to spot the ball. And like you just brought up, one of the classic moments in the history of the NFL is a ref with an index card laying down on the ground trying to figure out this billions of dollars, and it came down to a index card. Yeah, I think there's some things we can fix.
The chains are. I know some things are just the way they've always been done. But in addition to the chains, they have the down marker. You know, you're in a stadium that resembles a spaceship. You know what I mean?
This guy's got a big plastic arrow.
Yeah, that has all of these things. Is there a person in the building that's like, oh, I forgot what down it is? Let me look at the marker guy. You know what I mean? Like, no, it is the most pointless. It actually serves less of a point than the chains do. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody is getting the down information from that.
And half the time, the flipper dude's wrong. Like, is it first? Is it third? But I will say this: as we wave goodbye to that in the professional levels, you got to keep it for the kids, man. You got there. It's a rite of passage if you're a sport parent. That the dads, you learn to get real skinny when they're looking for the chain gang. Like, I'm gonna go get some popcorn, right?
No, I mean these things are necessary at the Pop Warner level, at the high school level, in some collegiate levels. Definitely necessary. But and even those archaic things like at the Valero, we'll see there's people that walk around with the scores. That's necessary though, because you don't have access to the information at all points on the course.
We all have a phone, and the only place that really matters is at the Masters. But other than that.
The players who are playing though don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, so if they need the information, my point is like,
have Twitter either.
Do you think friend of the show Matt Ryan? We'll go a little bit more modern. Do you think Matt Ryan ever was like, what down is it? Let me look at the person. Or do you think Matt Ryan looked at the stadium's digital massive jumbotron screen? I guarantee you, unless he was at BC, Matt Ryan never looked over and said, oh, the gentleman has a 3 on the placard.
Well, I get the sense there's been a couple of Cowboy coaches that needed it. Dave Campo comes to mind. He needed that thing. But now it's third down. What?
I'm excited about this. But again, I if anybody's wondering why now, it's because gambling continues to grow at an astronomical rate. And there are sports books, I would venture to guess, that have said, dude, we cannot have this level of vagueness and ambiguity. This has to finally happen.
Tush push?
I mean, the tush push doesn't bother me that much, as much as it bothers a lot of Cowboys fans, because the Eagles are the author of it. If they're doing it, don't put yourself in that situation, or be prepared for it, or do it yourself. I mean, there's no rules against any of those things. So I have no real qualms with it. The only thing that bothers me is the name, because everyone thinks they're so cheeky. Oh, touch, that's my real gripe with it.
I just like saying it. Tush push.
I know you do. That's everyone likes saying it, and everyone thinks that they're the only ones who like saying it. So then everybody says it. It's kind of like I know we all but seriously, I came up with Tyler Badass. I know everybody. I know everybody says it, but seriously.
Well, what was the other nickname before Tush Push? It had another name.
Well, no, it came after. They came up with the Brotherly Shove. I like that one a lot. I like that a lot.
The Brotherly Shove It, which I think is most.
No, not it.
No, but that's more appropriate to Philadelphia. Would be the Brotherly Shove It.
True. But the Brotherly Shove is a good one, because it's a play. Like Tush Push is not a play on anything. Like, it should be related to the city like that.
You're a general manager of great renown. You have the ability and wherewithal to judge quarterback meat. You can tell what's worthy and not, prime and above. If you were a general manager right now and you were not a number 1 draft pick, you're probably sitting about 4, 5, 6, or you felt like you could get there. And probably wouldn't, take the high and the low, and you got a chance at the middles. What would you do? That's my first question to you. But before you answer that, I want you to answer, who do you think is the best quarterback in the draft?
Well, the best quarterback in the draft is Caleb Williams.
Why? Why do you think that? Because I think talent-wise, I think his ceiling's probably higher than anybody else.
Yeah, you said you don't think it's higher?
No, I do. I think he's got a lot of what I want in a pro quarterback. The problem is, I think there's some things there that I've seen before that I'm worried. He
has probably the highest floor and the highest ceiling. So, that's why you lean into that. And so, there's other, that's not to say that other quarterbacks aren't talented in this class, but he's just the safest bet. And that's where, you want to kind of put all your eggs, if you can, when it comes to first round draft picks. But a lot of people are starting to fall a little bit more with Jane Daniels, and how can you not? The thing that's going to hold him back, and that will be a demerit against him, is his size. He's just
I'm out on it. I wouldn't draft him at 1 or 2 or 3. I just wouldn't. I can't afford. I saw what happened to Bryce. Man, you got to have so many things working right. And I understand you're extraordinarily talented. And given the right space and time, you can do it. But I'm not sure I can provide you the right space and time as much as required to win in the NFL. And I think Jaden falls in the same category.
There was I'm going to butcher the parameters, but Nate Tice said on I think it was on around the NFL podcast, the quarterbacks who fit his frame, there's only been something like 2 of them drafted in the last 20 years. And one of them was Aaron Brooks of the New Orleans Saints. But just because of his weight. And Bryce Young is extraordinarily small, but it's really, really, really difficult for players like that to play long sustained NFL, have long sustained NFL careers for obvious reasons. And there are obviously always exceptions, and you never know. And Drew Brees was really close to him in stature, but he was a little bit beefier, a little bit heavier. And so you're able to absorb, the punishment a little bit easier. So for that reason, I would lean Drake May. But
let's talk about Drake May, because Drake May and Michael Penix are the 2 kind of wild cards here, because beauty is always in the eye of the beholder. I think Michael Penix, as far as arm strength and ball skills, is equal to Caleb. I think he can do some of the throws only those 2 guys can make. But Penix is a couple years older and doesn't have the pedigree.
Penix to me is, you were talking about Max. I'm not saying he's Max Duggan, but he had the great playoff game against Texas, and everybody saw it, and everyone's going to kind of fall in love with the moments a little bit more. And he's a little bit more of a project, but he's an incredible processor, and you certainly value that at this level. He might be the biggest benefit of his stock falling, because he'll wind up on a team that is in dire need of help. You know what I'm saying?
Do you expect to see movement? I know that the Raiders are kind of hanging around there at the bottom of the first, bottom 10, 12, 13, somewhere in there. And I know they've been talking about it. This seems like probably the most likely year to have at least 1, maybe 2 teams maybe jump in at the last minute to go get a guy that they've really scouted well, especially I think when we start getting to 3, 4, and 5, those 3 quarterbacks.
I think it's difficult because, it's generally when you see that, there are teams in the top 3 who don't need a quarterback, but just wound up there because
the Bears,
somebody got hurt or whatever. But it's really easy to look at this year's draft order in Chicago, Washington, and New England at the top 3 and say that could be quarterback. And so the real advantageous spot to be could be Arizona at 4. And that's even tough to sell, because they have a chance of getting the best non-quarterback in the draft. That's probably Marvin Harrison Jr. that you said a moment ago. And so it's going to, you probably got the highest you can go is probably 4, because you're at that point trying to convince New England or Washington to give up on the quarterback that they have spent forever trying to find. And that's a difficult proposition. So, is that 4th player, 4th quarterback, if you are able to convince Arizona, if they're not in love themselves, if they want to roll with Kyler Murray, which is a fine thing to do, is it JJ McCarthy? JJ is going to be the biggest riser, I think. I think before this is all said and done, JJ goes top 10. In fact, I'll bet you right now, JJ McCarthy goes top 10.
And he's going to have a fine Kirk Cousins career, which I guess we shouldn't be afraid of. Neither should him. Real quickly, we talked earlier about the Cowboys aren't too busy in the free agency side of things up in Indianapolis. I'm looking at a list of their formal interviews. Is there anything to define out of this? A lot of linebackers, a lot of defensive tackles.
Yes and no. It's notable, but it's like the first time you go, you decided you want.
What's the Cowboys' history? What do we know by this? Is it always guys they've interviewed? Is it never? Are they hiding their tracks?
This isn't that. It's hard to discern anything from this.
Mm-hmm.
This is like you've decided you're ready to buy a new car. You've saved up. You're ready to do it. This is the first day you went out looking. And so, like, the question you're asking is basically like the first salesman that's like, hey, I can get you in this car. You know what? And you're like, you know what, dude? I'm really just kind of like evaluating. I'm not at the place yet where I'm willing to test drive anything. The thing we can really, really, really read into are their 30 visits. And we still have some time to go before that. So this is just, that this is initial reconnaissance.
What's the difference as far as defined by the NFL Players Association and the NFL between a formal and an informal meeting? Or standing or sitting? I mean,
formal is private. Formal is behind closed doors. There are limits. Informal is in a hallway. You know what I mean? Like talking.
So we're quantifying that? Like we pass in the hallway and say, how you doing? That's an interview?
Well, I mean, maybe not the hallway, but, more of like a, just a check-in, somebody wearing a half zip for that team spoke to you in a bit of an intimate fashion. That's the difference between
coming up and a formal. I guess. So was this the list that I'm looking at? It looks like just the guys that were working out yesterday. So so today is skill positions. So we got wide receivers and running backs and tight ends alike, right? That's what we're going to see today. So we'd like to see, again, we'll divine later, some running back interviews. You figure that would be the thing of the day?
Yeah, I mean, and wide receivers. We're starting to hear some wide receivers that have met with the Cowboys, both in a formal and an informal capacity. But like I said, not every formal or informal interview will or won't be a 30 visit. And, they also, the 30 visits, since they're limited, they are much more picky, especially positionally. Like you can really, really get a sense of what positions they're targeting early in the draft by who they're bringing in for their 30 visits.
Hey, all you Hozier fans, in approximately 22 minutes, I'll be giving away a pair of tickets to go see Hozier. He's coming to our beautiful Frostbank Center on September the 24th, and he's bringing Allison Russell with him. We're giving those away just after 8:15. We're going to talk NFL Players Association's annual report card in the 8 o'clock or the 9 o'clock hour, just a little bit after 9:15, because it matters, and we'll see where the Cowboys rank and all the things that matter to free agents and players. But on the other side, boy, we got it. Wemby showed up last night, took care of business, and the Spurs arrived triumphantly off the Rodeo Road Trip, dispatching the Oklahoma City Thunders handily, might we say. Spurs conversation next, NFLPA talk, and then grievances. Hang on, the fun's just beginning. You're on the Morning Huddle. This is 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
.94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join. Or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. Then, after your round, join the San Antonio Sports Star gang for the after party, where the Blitz will be live at 90 Proof Bar and Grill, 11880 U.S. Highway 90, just 10 minutes from the Golf Club of Texas. It's San Antonio's Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation, Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Starting with one store in 1978, Boot Barn has become the largest Western and workwear retailer in the nation. Supporting those who feed, build, and protect America, we offer the largest selection of cowboy boots, work boots, Western wear, workwear, and outdoor gear. With over 500,000 pairs of boots and thousands of top-quality jeans and clothing, it's an honor to support the people who make our country so great. Boot Barn. Keep West.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
O'Reilly. You need parts? O'Reilly Auto Parts has parts. Need them fast? We've got fast. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
KTFM Floresville. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the Aggies. San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NBA, it turns out all the Spurs needed was a couple of tacos, some home cooking. It felt good to see them back in as they arrived in San Antonio after the Rodeo Road Trip and dispatched the Oklahoma City Thunder 132-118. That's their 12th win on the season. Wemby had 13 rebounds, 7 assists, and 5 blocks, 2 steals to go along with his 28 points. Devin Vassell did the same.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Wembenyama free. Good! Goes behind the back here. Oh! Little sidestep and a jam by Wembenyama. Drive. Oh, it's knocked away by Wembenyama.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. With Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Hey, gather around. We got something to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle. That's RJ Ochoa. I am Rob Thompson, Easy E, driving this boat as he always does. Welcome to the last hour of the last day of the week. Welcome to March the 1st. Don't mind them brake lights. We'll get you where you're going. This hour, we got grievances to air. And man, oh man, it's been a pleasure listening to Joe Reinagle go through his cathartic experience over the last couple of days. His grievances are that of the old man on the porch, but, you know, that's when we get most of our grievances.
You know, I think Joe probably feels a lot better about life as a result of 2 grievance sessions. I mean, half his week so far has featured that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm not saying we have to do this, but I also am not saying that we're above charging him. You know, what, you know, like this is in some way a service that we're providing to him. And so, you know, he wants to pick up lunch or something like that, you know, send us some Tips treats or some crumble cookie. I mean, yeah, it's kind of the least he could do, at least in my eyes.
I would like to tell you, I've had my fair share of Tips treats over the last week.
Yeah.
Quite good.
Well,
you know when they arrive with ice cream? Oh my goodness.
So I very quickly here told you I went to Waco last week. We saw my wife's family, and my wife's mom, my mother-in-law, she bought like 100 nothing but cakes. So
that's awesome.
I'm a little tapped out right now because I splurged. They are delicious, but but she told me, have you ever had one of the?
Yes.
No, but I'm talking about I think they're called buntlets, the small ones. They're kind of.
That's what I kind of had.
So my in-laws eat them the way I'm about to tell you, and I think this is
good.
No. I think this is weird, but you know, hey. So she was telling us when they get them, they normally get 4. You know, even though there's just the 2 of them. So they get 4, and they cut them in 4ths.
Okay.
And then they take pieces of the 4 different ones and assemble their own.
That's awesome. I'm down.
No, that's horrible.
Those bundt cakes are spectacular. They're barely above
good, but why would you cross flavor like
because they're all so good. It's like Neapolitan ice cream. You get all.
I don't like Neapolitan. Nobody likes Neapolitan ice cream.
Well, except the Neapolitans and they'll say something to you. I don't know what to make of last night, other than there was nothing more needed in a Spurs fan's life than what occurred yesterday.
It was to Spurs fans what the airing of grievances has been to Joe Reiniger.
A massive exhale of bad air. And while there were so many other side plots apart from, man, just win a freaking basketball game. But the subtext coming into the game was Pop is now cracking the whip, that we're 3/4 of the way through the season. These youthful mistakes are time to be put aside. You're now a man, act as if. You've been around here long enough. You have to start valuing the ball. You have to start playing the game. You have to do the things that are required. You're no longer a child. Don Harris even brought it up before the game yesterday. I thought it was really interesting. And, we saw pieces and parts, but we saw Keldon get benched a couple of games prior, pulled out a couple of minutes, missed an assignment, done. We saw Victor and Sohan get benched coming out of the locker room last game. And, oh, my goodness, we'll talk about focus last night. Disciplined basketball, as disciplined as these cats can be anyway. Disciplined basketball. And also, you pair that with extraordinary shooting, you're going to win a lot of basketball games.
It was the perfect recipe, and it, in a silly way, perfectly justified everything that Pop has done over the last week, which, in my still opinion, remains a little too late. And even if you do buy that, even if you do buy, you know what, RJ, you're just full of it. You're full of those dumb mashed up buntinis or whatever they're called. All right. What Pop did worked. Pop, he cracked the whip, as Rob said, and his players played hard and they crushed, one of the better teams in the Western Conference. Okay, then why didn't he do it earlier? like if this was the secret formula that was available and accessible all season long, why did it take until the literal leap day for the results to pay dividends? I mean, that's crazy when you really think about it that way.
Leap day results. They from now on will own the 28th. It's our day.
29th.
I'm sorry, the 29th. It's our day. The 29th, man. Yeah. We are undefeated. Yeah, good on the 29th.
Good luck beating us on Leap Day, Oklahoma City. You're never getting that over us on us.
RJ, I know you're in jest, but it does kind of speak to the theme of this season as it's become more and more apparent that they're capable of doing so many things, and some of it is by design that they're not. And some of it is just out of just ignorance, apathy, however you want to define it,
luck,
and youth. And when we see it all come together, it gives us just enough hope to carry on, especially against a team like Oklahoma, especially against a team with Chet. And that was the theme last night. It was Chet and Wemby. And for the first 8 minutes, man, that was something to see. That was one of those that I think in 15 years, that game will be part of the highlight package of what it was like to watch Chet and Wemby go through it through the years. And this is one of those early chapter games that both had highlights, both offensive and defensive, both passing and shooting. Both of them look like everything we were promised they were going to be. Just one was a little bit better in Wemby.
Chet has the potential to be the biggest Spurs rival pain in their rear end since who?
Well, you look at the ongoing threat that was Dirk in Dallas, and the ongoing.
That's where you're going. There's not a more recent one in your mind.
Well, last time we were competitive. We could talk about the omnipresent Houston and the variety of dudes that were there, but that wasn't ever really. Who are you thinking?
Well, I'm unpacking the question myself as I ask it. Houston doesn't again. You have to win for it to qualify as somebody, and the way it wouldn't shock me if Oklahoma City beat us in a series, because of Chet, you know what I mean? At some point in the future. So Houston doesn't qualify in that sense. Dirk is probably a good one.
As far as, the omnipresent, he was there for a decade and a half, forever. And if you didn't play your cards right, you'd have to face him, and you didn't want to deal with him. And not that we didn't dislike, but that we disliked Dirk. There was no hatred there. But I get the sense that Chet and Victor don't like each other. They played each other enough. Oh, boom. Zaza. Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah, that's the answer.
Yeah, it is all the time. But I do get the sense that those two, at least Victor doesn't like Chet, or at least last night he wasn't top on his list.
KD is a good answer from Heriberto in the Brigade Bar, especially because we forget Tim's last game was against them. You know what I mean? So like there is the kind of like transfer of thunder, you know what I'm saying, from KD at that point too.
What astounds me about last night watching the game, it's just something interesting you watch, because both these guys have to go against their tall guy every day in practice. And how I watched more than one Spur dribble right into a block shot from Chet. Like, dude, don't you get this the same thing in practice? Aren't you accustomed to having to drive into the lane with some 7'4" or better guy going to take your shot from behind you when you don't even know he's coming? And both teams dribbled into it like they hadn't seen it in their own practices. I found that kind of indicative of what a young team looks like. And we forget that Oklahoma City is just about as young as the Spurs. They're just further down the road in their process.
Well, and it's not like they're practicing, with all of their energy either, because just of how often they play. But I thought about the same thing, but in a different way, because I think a lot of people had fun with the Wemby block on Chet, which is just
what do we call it?
Beautiful moment.
It's a Chet's kiss.
Chet's kiss instead of a chef's kiss. It's Chet's kiss.
Do we have an emoji for that? Is there an emoji for?
There isn't. I was like 3 years ago, I was told that there was going to be one, and there isn't.
Wow.
So I know we really need there's a lot of great GIFs that do it, but we need an emoji. But anyway, so I was thinking about this, and it was like, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, Chet got owned," and I was like, "Yeah, he got owned," but I was thinking like, he's not used to anyone being able to do that. I mean, so I like to the opposite sort of side of your point of like, how does anybody on these teams like, not understand they're in the danger zone, you know what I mean, when they're in the wingspan of Chet or Wemby? Like, it's pretty easy for Chet to not ever feel that threat because he never does, given who he is and what his physical size is.
I saw a meme of it was Victor, but it could be applied to Chet, that Victor treats NBA players like NBA players used to treat people at their camp, blocking shots, because you got NBA guys coming in nonchalant. It amazes me that it continues to happen, but it did.
I've got a more descriptive one, and Rob Thompson will appreciate this. Victor treats NBA players the way dads treat their kids when they can still beat them at basketball, but the kids are getting a little cocky.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, when your kids were like, "Oh, Dad, I'm beating you," and you were like, "Okay." Like,
did you see
time
him?
To turn this up.
I think it was Shai Gilgeous in the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game. Block it left-handed, went up with a different hand and sent it out. Left-handed, not right. Went with the other hand and sent it out. The message was served early, and well-fought game all the way through. We got to give credit where it's due, that the guys did in fact come to play. And it started early on. And for those that were there, Wemby got the mic at the beginning of the game and was, talking to the fans about coming back. And Wemby, English is his second language. And, when you're around a guy like Pop and others who speak saltier than others, you tend to think maybe things are more normal or more appropriate than they are. Wemby already cursed on national TV during the All-Star game, and he brought it home. This is him talking about what happened yesterday.
I missed this shit. I love it. I missed it. Enjoying the game. Hey, we're back on the Rodeo Road Trip. With more than 16,000 people that are out. That's feeling. Hey, tailgate, go Spurs, go. 1, 2, 3, go Spurs, go.
Little something there. Little
Dude,
chill. Little chill down the back of my neck.
What do you mean little chill? I'm freezing. Like that. So like there's several elements of this. The cursing is really funny, especially because he's still young and green enough to where a lot of people are like, oh, that's so cute. You know what I mean? Like he's been cursing for like 5 years. You know what I mean? So that's one element to this. Also just the like addressing of returning home from the Rodeo Road Trip, like understanding the significance of that is a really like corporate knowledge sort of thing relative to your place in Spurs lore with Spurs fans. And then, just saying I missed it, obviously, like adds to the legend of it all. Not only then saying, can I get a Go Spurs Go chant? But I think it would surprise a lot of people how disconnected some professional athletes are from their teams and like slogans or whatever, like the team history. Like, so like, I'm not trying to put like an incredibly low bar out here, but like to know Go Spurs Go, you know what I mean? To like understand that and to want to be a part of it, whatever, is another like amplification of this whole phenomenon. And then to do it, you know what I mean? It's just, it was just like that will play in when they raise his, when his number is hung, that video will play, and it will be an entrance into what his career was, because he's not just this incredible basketball player. He's this incredible ambassador for the Spurs already, which is unbelievable to fathom given his age and, his position in life in general.
Scored 132 points last night, over 70 in the first half. Now, some of that was, well, not some, a lot of that was Oklahoma City's completely inefficient defense. But when you see Victor shoot the way that he did last night, and that is the most obvious and easiest way to improve his game, because that's a shot that will always be available. Always. He will always have an open three.
Last night, he was 71% from three.
I mean, ridiculous to expect. But when you see a stroke like that, when you see the fluid movement, that's not that far away from being every day. It's not that far away. Not 70%. I'm talking 40%. And if he's shooting 45%, my gosh, the basketball gods have smiled on us yet again in a different way that was unexpected, because that would be ridiculous. But when he's shooting like that, there's no stopping that.
Well,
ever.
Sample size is really small, but in 54 games so far, he's hit north of 45% 14 times. In the three most recent, or the three best performances, have all come since December. But last night was his second best game ever as a pro, obviously from a percentage standpoint, but it was the most, just single amount of three-pointers he'd ever made. He made 4 in December against the Lakers. But he was 5 of 7 last night. That's the other thing, like, the volume needs to be there. You need to be putting up that many threes a night, dude. I mean, like, I understand how easy it is for Wemby to dominate in the paint, but, like, dude, you're a talented enough shooter to where, like, you've got to capitalize on this over and over and over again. And to your point, like, it leads to 132 points because, like, if you're the catalyst for all that, it's a cascading sort of effect.
So much from what we saw last night. Not only was it the way he began the night, talking about how much he missed the crowd, and man, we needed that. Like I said, that was one of those hair on your arm raised shiver moments.
I missed this shit.
We missed it too, Victor. But on the other side, the way he closed the game out, Spurs closed the game on a 16-5 run. Victor alone posting 6, 3, and 2, 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block over those last 6 minutes. And that block, holy cow, not a Manu moment, but one that I do think will be on the highlight reel of his career. When we go, what happened to that first year? There'll be a couple of KD highlights. There'll be him on the freak, and there will be him blocking Chet with 1:30 to go.
Berto offered in the Brigade Bar that David was there, and there was the shot of him, in the middle of the speech and everything like that. Like, I obviously know, and we all know that had nothing to do with the performance, and but like it added to the chills. It added to the, like, this is something special is happening, like, this is everything is happening all at once, like, this is a beautiful moment, and it is the beginning. It really looked just like this incredible, homage, like, past meeting present. Like, it was beautiful. It made me sports happy. There are very few sports emotions like that kind of sports happy.
It was a great night that the Spurs desperately needed. A couple of days to reacclimate. The Pacers on the way, and we've got about 3 games for them to break the all-time NBA record for 20 assists in a game. The consecutive game count will reach what are we chasing, like 120 games? I don't.
The record is 120. We're at 118.
Ooh,
and we're a week away from knowing whether or not we hit 121, because the Spurs can break the record if they keep it up next Thursday night in Sacramento.
Hey, Hoosier fans, this is your time. I warned you. Here it comes. Hoosier will be in San Antonio on September the 24th, performing at a beautiful Frost Bank Center. He'll be bringing Allison Russell as his special guest. If you want to go, get on the phone, 656-3776, 656 ESPN to you and me. And caller number 5 is going to go check out Hoosier. Hey, gather your grievances, stuff them in a sack, and release them appropriately in about 15 minutes. Hey, we're going to look around the NFL Combine next. Maybe something else. Maybe some F1. Who knows? but we are definitely airing grievances in just a couple of minutes. Go win them tickets. We'll be right back. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic is set Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas with plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. Then, after your round, join the San Antonio Sports Star gang for the after party, where the Blitz will be live at 90 Proof Bar and Grill, 11880 US Highway 90, just 10 minutes from the Golf Club of Texas. It's San Antonio's Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Can a president not have sex with a porn star?
Clinton did it. No one had a problem with Clinton doing it.
Or
Kennedy, or... No one had problems with them doing it, right?
It's definitely an ingredient that was injected from the other side. What's the guy's name? The evil guy from Hungary, super rich.
Dracula?
No.
The John Clay Wolf Show, every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Get to your local Twin Peaks Monday through Friday from 2 to 7 and score some sweet deals like $1 off all wine, liquor, and of course, cheap shots. Freezing cold 29-degree cold beer. Of course, we expect that. And you need more? How about a snack? Twin Peaks has select apps for $2, $4, and $6. And you can always come back for the late night specials. Why would you even leave for the reverse happy hour? No one does happy hour quite like Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and all those scenic views.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
At Progressive, we love sports and saving you money, so we bundled them together.
Top of the 7th looks like a pitching change as they've set up for a corner kick. The 2 black belts have entered the mat, and the slider is low and away. He heads the ball to midfield. This is quite a kumite. Here comes the roundhouse. Has it got enough gas to get out of here? Unbelievable! They've bundled their home and auto insurance with Progressive. Kick savings pitch karate.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hello, this is Chip with Diamond J Properties. You're invited to our coastal waterfront grand opening this Saturday, where you can get 1 to 4 acres in the waterfront community starting at $49.9. That's 1 to 4 acres starting at $49.9. This coastal waterfront community has over 4 miles of water frontage with access to the ICW, Gulf, Matagorda Bay, and much more. Property features paved roads, underground utilities, boat launch, pier, pool, cabana, and more. This property is shown by appointment only. Call now, 210-853-0389. 210-853-0389. 210-853-0389. 210-853-0389.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Reinigle here. Coming up on the Blitz, the NFL Combine continues out in Indianapolis. John Machota with The Athletic is there. We're going to visit with him at 5:15 and get the latest. Spurs, Wemby, Chet, all of that stuff happened last night in the Frost Bank Center. We will react to that. Rob, RJ, good to see you boys back together.
It is indeed good to be back in the saddle again as we head into a weekend without a rodeo to kick around. We got the Spurs back home. They'll be here again. Well, they'll be playing again on Sunday. F1 tomorrow. More practice today, I think. Probably going on as we speak.
Qualifying is in like an hour.
Yeah, it's going on pretty soon. I watched a little bit of the practicing yesterday. We have picked our F1 teams. Thank the Blitz boys both for filling in my stead over the week. Been a long one, but thanks for all those that have stepped in and taken care of and done all those, and you especially. Thanks for everything you've done this week. There is a report card that the NFL Players Association release every year regarding the teams they play for. And, the things that matter when you're an employee of an organization. You like a nice break room, nice place to park, every now and then a pizza party instead of a raise, those things. They are asked to grade different categories: the treatment of families, food and cafeteria, nutrition and dietitian, locker room quality, training room, training staff, weight room, to name just a few. They gave A, B, C's, D's, and F's. It's not surprising that the Cowboys rank pretty high. I mean, I think at the end of the day, you'd expect them to do, the things appropriate to the team just because of who Jerry Jones is. But they did get a D in training staff, which I found interesting.
There was some context here that players said that they feel like the training staff should be given more resources to do their job. So that might be a subtle shot at,
like Jerry spent some more money.
Yeah, like we need another MRI machine, or I don't know. I mean, whatever, another, five more, massage chairs or whatever. I mean, so it doesn't seem like the issue is the staff themselves so much as just what the staff has to work with that maybe creates the logjam.
And the Cowboys get an A for treatment of the families. I was surprised looking around the rest of the league. The teams that I thought would have been great with the families aren't. Like the Pittsburgh Steelers, you'd have thought that would have been a home immediately, that they'd have taken, because everybody loves Pittsburgh. They always talk about it when they leave, but no, got an F according to New England, F for treatment of families. The Kansas City Chiefs, D+ in the treatment of families.
I wonder exactly how everybody feels about this. Like, is it and some of this stuff, like I believe the Chargers, who got an F, there were F minuses to be clear.
Yeah.
But the Chargers got an F, and some of this was the prices that they charge for daycare, was the context there. And, some teams don't charge, or, what I mean? Whatever. And so that would probably be like a culture shock. If you played for a team that doesn't charge, you have 2 kids or whatever, and then you show up there, they're like, oh, that'll be like $5 million. You're just like, oh, well, that sucks a lot. Now I live in California, I have to pay all these taxes.
Across the league, as far as treatment of families, you had 6 teams with Fs, only 4 teams with As. As far as food and cafeteria, which I think players probably take as important as anything else. The Cowboys have not had the best scores in the past regarding that, but they're right in the middle. They got a solid B for their lunchroom. Taco Tuesday, enchilada Wednesday, fish Fridays.
The Bengals are just, I mean, dude, and Cincinnati's always been really cheap ownership. I mean, really poorly run. That's why the Joe Burrow extension was such a surprise that they made. And kudos to them that they're kind of turning the culture of the organization around in this Burrow era. But so they got an F- on families. They got an F- on food/cafeteria, and an F- on nutritionist/dietitian.
Which tells me they don't have one.
Well, I mean, yeah, but imagine being whoever it is, the person that's in charge of all that. You're like, what the heck?
Well, hey, man, I'm working with all I got here. I got a blender and some bananas. I'm doing the best I can. All these, treatment of family, food and cafeteria, nutrition, dietitian, locker room, training staff, weight room, there are 11 total categories listed in there. Is the one in your mind that would that you would pick would be the most important?
I mean, I would say head coach is really important. I mean, that's probably the person who you trust the most relative to the organization. You could say owner, and from that perspective, the Vikings. So when the Vikings, they have their own version of the star, and that doesn't really get talked about a lot. And everybody just kind of talks about like the cold there, but like they got an A in weight room, strength coaches, travel, training room. I mean, like it's a pretty nice life to play for the Minnesota Vikings. Dan Campbell picked up an A+, so did Andy Reid. These are the coaches who, got an A. There's a lot of them. I mean, in fact, the worst coach was Josh McDaniels, but and Ron Rivera was a C, by the way, the same Ron Rivera who the Cowboys interviewed to be their defensive coordinator. But Mike McCarthy picked up an A, which was a better grade than Jerry Jones got, actually. So, and something that I found to be super interesting, you brought up the Chiefs. So Andy Reid picked up an A+. That's what the Chiefs had as far as head coach. They had an F- for owner.
I know.
So the Hunts are hated by Chiefs. Well, and the Hunts just asked Kansas Cityans to raise $2 billion for a brand new. I mean, that's the price of building a dynasty. Is the owners want to capitalize on it, and now the taxpayers are going to have to foot the bill. So
one of the other things that struck me of the Cowboys was the low grade on team travel.
I mean, some of that is, different teams do different things. Some teams charge if you want to have a room to yourself, things like that, or maybe it's the food on the travel or whatever, things like that. I mean, it's, for the most part, the Cowboys are living among the privileged, I would say, if you're a Cowboys player. Something that I'm going to say, Rob, and I guarantee you never thought that I would say these words on this show. You ready?
I'm ready.
We all owe Cole Beasley an apology.
We do, huh?
Now this has been the case for a few years now. So because this is released annually. When Cole Beasley finished his first or second season in Buffalo, he had a tweet that was something along the lines of, "The facilities in Buffalo are extraordinary. They're amazing." Everybody was like, was like, "You loser." They were like, "Have you seen the Star?" It's a complex. And if you look at it, the Bills training room is a B+. Dallas's is a C-. The Bills weight room is an A+, one of the only A+. And that's what Cole Beasley's point was. So Cole was right. Like, we don't give him a lot of credit on that. Like, he deserves some props. So
well, the problem is his personality outweighs everything that he's been right about.
Well, I know, but give him his props. Be fair.
That might have been a grievance, might not have been. If you do have a grievance, your time is coming. You can let it out by typing, or you can talk it. 656-3776, 656-ESPN. You can get on the bar. You can be one of them. And while you're doing that, make sure you are liking what we're doing and sharing as often as possible. We're going to go to break and get our grievances in preparation while we are there. If you haven't signed up for our golf tournament, go to sasportstar.com. Post haste and get yourself signed up. We are in the month of March. That is the month we are playing. We are just 24 days away. Get yourself signed up. We're coming back with all the grievances. I was going to say something about Wemby, but that would involve cussing. We'll be right back with your grievances right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, the NFL Combine continues out in Indianapolis. Of course, that always means the Dallas Cowboys are doing something. John Machota is going to join us at 5:15 from The Athletic.
Plus, Spurs, Oklahoma City last night, all the reaction between Chet and Wemby. The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. If you have downloaded the Prize Picks app and you're playing, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to those that think that there's something out of reach. If you want to play a game that your skill plays a role in, I want you to download Prize Picks because it's about more or less. It's not about winning and losing. Use your knowledge to pick out who is going to do the best and decide whether it's going to be more or less. A couple of clicks before you know it, you're playing the game. And it's all about the knowledge. Download Prize Picks. You'll see what I'm talking about. Basketball is in full swing. The tournament's just around the corner. There is no better way to apply your knowledge than Prize Picks. You know your guys. You know what they're capable of. Is it higher or lower? 2 or 3 clicks, more and more X's, more and more money. And if you download Prize Picks now and use the word Alamo in your promo code, there's $100 to play with. More or less, a couple of clicks, go do it. It's Prize Picks. Start play today. Thank me later.
This is the story of a very special woman. Just a few knew about her superpowers. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Dave Ramsey here from my friends over at Connecticut in San Antonio. Trust me, Connecticut water systems are the best of the best. I personally have one in my home. All those other water softener systems out there are junk in comparison. Connecticut uses less water and runs on kinetic energy. So there's no computer to break, fewer moving parts, and it works only when you need it. It was even voted most efficient water softener in the world by the Water Quality Association. The team at Connecticut San Antonio can test your water, install a system, and provide treatment all without stepping a foot inside your home.
I'm Chris Canepa of Connecticut and San Antonio in the Hill Country. I'll let you try a Connecticut quality water softener for 90 days absolutely free. Call us at 656-PURE, that's 656-7873, or visit us on ConnecticutSA.com.
And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
Call 656-PURE, Connecticut.
This is the Morning Huddle with Rob Thompson and RJ Ochoa.
Welcome, newcomers. The tradition begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Here are the grievances with Rob and RJ.
You know the drill. We like to start our days appropriately, and you carry that negative karma with you all day. It just ruins your weekend. So we like to end our day and begin yours in a way that is both, enlightening and energizing, letting it go. Over the last couple of days, it's been a pleasure listening to Joe. kind of let things go. That's RJ Ochoa. He's the managing editor of Blogging Boys. I'm Rob Thompson. This is the Morning Huddle, and we do this every day. Do you have any great grievances to let go? I'm in a kind of a zen-like place right now, so I don't have a lot of hard grievances, little ones.
Ooh, in the brigade bar that I think we should get to first, if you're okay with it.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Okay, so Tony Galan says, my apartment complex's unreliable laundry facility. I hate opening a washer and smelling worse than my dirty socks or pulling some damp clothes from the dryer. That sucks.
Mildew. Oh, dude, we've all gone through it. The surest fire way to buy a washing machine is just spend a couple of days in a laundromat, a washateria. I don't care how nice they are and how fast you can get it all done. You just never know, man.
Alexandra says in the brigade bar, my grievance is with people at the gym who take up a machine because they're sitting there on their phone. Yeah, it's a tough scene too. I mean, you got to get off. You gotta be
hey, man,
respectful.
I'd rather than be on the phone than staring into my soul as I'm closing out a workout.
Ryan says in the brigade bar what he said earlier, that Neapolitan ice cream is good.
It is good. It is a little bit of everything. Un poco de todo, as we have said on many menus. and it's good, especially when you get to pair. And this is the delicious thing about Neapolitan. Just take a scoop of the strawberry and the chocolate It is a taste delight.
I'm fine with strawberry and chocolate together. Why don't they sell that?
They do, but you also have to have the vanilla to go along and make it the true Neapolitan.
Okay, are you ready for mine?
I am. I'm ready because you live a pretty good life. I don't know what would really kind of set you off.
This was among our very first grievances, so it's a bit of a throwback. It's not Thursday, but my grievance is with the mass propaganda I'm seeing about Dune 2, how it's the best movie ever. I saw somebody on my timeline. I saw somebody on my timeline say it could potentially be the greatest science fiction movie of all time, taking down The Empire Strikes Back. I don't even know. My grievance might actually be that The Empire Strikes Back is the greatest science fiction of all movie of all time.
Well, it is.
I really don't know off the top of my head. I don't know what we actually need to qualify as science fiction specifically. Like, does the movie Signs count as that?
Is it made up? And is it with science?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Then, like, anything, qualifies as that. I've never seen it, but I would put Interstellar up there from a lot of people's vantage point. And it's not science fiction, but Oppenheimer, like, if we're allowed, it's science. If we're allowing it to live and thrive. Okay, well, still. Empire Strikes Back is a fine choice, I suppose, but I would maybe put some of the Planet of the Apes films up there.
Go and watch it before you dog it, because I cannot wait to go see it.
The first one isn't even a movie. It is just like 6 people breathing. That's all it is. And they're breathing through the funny little tubes. That's it. Like, it's not an actual movie. Tony Montana, thank you, Tony, in the Brigade Bar says Dune is the most overrated nonsense ever. You know what Dune is, Rob? And I'm gonna be straight up with you because I love you. Dune is Waterworld in the desert. That's all it is. That's all it is.
That is such a great comparison. I agree.
It's just a different element that they're battling and they're challenging.
And for those of us of an age that, this is our second try at this. We tried it. We tried it about 40 years ago and it didn't work. Who's the guy that's behind this? Guillermo or whoever the guy, the masterful mind that is.
Dennis Villeneuve.
Yeah.
It's not Villeneuve. He's the director.
Whatever the guy who's behind it. The first was he is still at the plate. There's a bunch of foul balls hit, but he's still there. And for those of us that want Dune to be what it should have been earlier and could be now, if it comes close, if it's just close, oh my goodness, it'll make our day, because people like me had to live through. Remember, they promised a couple years ago when they remade Blade Runner, and you thought, how can a movie like that be remade? But I'm down. Didn't work. We tried.
Ryan is putting the Rotten Tomato score for Dune on the screen.
95%, man.
No, dude, like, it's because Dune is this like thing that we're like the people who do this are pretending they think is cool, because there's like 5 people who think the Dune is cool, and everyone's trying to impress the 5 people and the residual like domino effect of it all. It's not cool. It's never been cool. What is the thing he's breathing? How does it work? How does it, they haven't explained anything. The first movie was so pointless. And to like be told like, oh, well, you have to watch the second 3.5-hour movie to fully understand and appreciate everything. Did Zendaya say more than 5 words in the first movie? Like, it just, no, I'm sorry. I can't do it.
His
it
name
looks so dumb.
is a killing word.
Tony, by the way, says Interstellar is the best sci-fi movie ever. See, I've never seen that, but
which one?
Game recognized game. Interstellar.
Yeah, good movie. Good movie. I'm not saying, but I would like to think Dune will measure up. I can't wait. I will definitely be in the movie theaters this weekend. I'm going to go see it. Just a matter of how.
That was my grievance.
And I'll stay on mine. And this one's petty, and I'm still so upset because I've been looking forward to the same kind of thing for a long time. I've been looking forward to the TV series Shogun to come out. I remember back in the day, I read I'm a big Michener fan. He's great sweeping histories. And for those of you who know Shogun, I'm about to weird out. The first, when you can look at it from 2 different ways. From the guy Blackthorne, who is kind of the star of the plot, or from the perspective of the Japanese houses. I'm not giving anything away here. Well, this iteration is about to come from the perspective of the 5 houses that were so intimately involved in the story. I finally find it. I've had a couple hours of free time with fam over the last couple of days, so we are all excited. We get the Hulus all open. We start to watch it, and 90% of it is subtitled. And it's all, and I get it. You're holding true to the theme and they're speaking in Japanese but here's my complaint. So it's Shogun, and the guys behind it wanted to pay homage and at least respect to the language and the meanings behind the language in the movie. So you've got Japanese spoken, but the majority of the plot of the movie has to do with Portuguese Catholics. So the Portuguese Catholics, they don't get to speak Portuguese. They're speaking English.
Yeah, that's tough.
So, I get it. I get why they wanted to have a little bit of English, but I find it weird that they chose the Japanese get to use that, but the Portuguese Catholic, well, you got to speak English. And I thought, well, if the Portuguese had to speak English, why can't they just kind of like fade into English? Remember when Narcos first came out? It was really the first time you had the complete use of both languages in a series. Apart from a couple of the novellas, but for the most part, this was the first time that I'd ever watched a series that, some episodes were all in Spanish. You just had to pay attention. Others were English because of the Narcos side. And you got used to it. I don't think I'm going to be able to get used to this. I'm not going to be able to watch this.
I'm sorry, because that's a big bummer. You were
it
looking
is.
forward to
I was very much looking forward to it. And it's just, I'd rather at this point just, give me bad voiceover. And I hate bad voiceover.
Okay.
That's a side one. I know. And I was just so upset that I was ready for it. And I turn it on. I think, well, eventually it'll just kind of fade away. Or at least in Narcos, when I was first watching the very first one, when it went from Spanish to English or English to Spanish, I remember watching the third or fourth episode on a plane. And it had had headphones on. And, it's going Spanish to English. And at one point it went to English, but I thought they were still speaking Spanish. And I thought a miracle had occurred, that I was suddenly understanding Spanish and I was hearing it in English in my head. For a brief moment, I thought, "Oh my gosh, it worked."
I saw something along these lines. I think it will work on this computer though. Let me see if this works. There's a function on some MacBooks. It doesn't do it. Maybe if I do it one.
What'll happen?
It's been doing it on my other computer.
What?
No. It's not doing it.
It looks like you're doing an obscene gesture, like Ronaldo did in Saudi Arabia.
Oh no, nothing like that.
Who's the guy that got fined for the gesture in Saudi? Was that Ronaldo? Who was it?
Yeah, it was Cristiano.
Cristiano. What did he do?
I really don't know.
Was it one of these?
Sadly, haven't paid much attention to his career since he left.
Did he do that?
I guess. I mean, you're doing it now. What do you?
Because there's some foreign stuff that I don't know is bad, but it is like this. I hear this is a curse word.
Wow. I don't know if Ryan's saying no to your grievance, by the way, with the other gesture from Gladiator. So, wow.
I have one other, and
okay,
this one's going to strike to the soul of a lot of people, but I have to say it.
Okay.
Most things coming out of your neighborhood panaderia have zero flavor at all. As beautiful as they are, I've been let down by Conchas yet again. I had people delivering stuff. What is it? Why do they look so good and just not taste like they look?
Yeah, I feel like that's honestly the case with most pastries. I would say like 60% of pastries look way better than they actually taste.
But the Mexican pastry is the example. It is it never is as sweet as it looks ever.
I'm kind of with you. I really don't want to.
And I know it's a you're not allowed to say these kind of things, but man, over and over the week, I'd open up the box and it would look so good, and I'd bite into it and I think they left the sugar out.
Tony says to try dipping them in coffee. That's not a bad idea. I mean, help it out.
That doesn't sweeten anything up.
No, but I mean, it adds some texture or changes the texture.
And I think that's the very reason why they've been manufactured like a scone. But for the most part, I am let down by 90% of the things that I get out of any of the bakeries. And they all look delicious. It's just that my palate is not there. When I see it looking sweet, I want it to come in at donut. That is donut sweet.
I have a second grievance. It's food related as well, if you're okay with that.
I'm in.
By the way, Ryan says macaroons suck. Macaroons are fine. I mean, come back to us.
Too much
macaroons are fine. So I had sushi for dinner last night, and
did you make it yourself?
No, I was busy hustling.
Who makes their own
bustling,
sushi anyway? But
well, that's one of those things that's honestly probably not worth making. Because I mean, it probably takes you like 3 hours to make it, and it's gone in like 10 minutes. So I mean, it's just maybe it's a fun like date night, sort of experience or something like that. But the practicality of it is, But anyway,
sushi.
So I had sushi, and among the things I had, I had a roll. A
California roll,
rock shrimp roll, and
what is a rock? What is in a rock shrimp roll other than rock shrimp?
Avocado, cucumber.
See, that's the
something.
avocado. That's not Japanese, but go ahead.
Shrimp, and then there's this mustard stuff that's like drizzled on top.
I bet it's good. Yeah.
So when you eat sushi rolls, maybe chopsticks or fork.
I try to stay appropriate. Chopsticks.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I always go chopsticks, and no matter what I'm doing, any kind of sushi, any kind of food there, I'm doing chopsticks. That's when I'm trying to do.
Are you good at it?
I think so. I think I'm better than most. And so my grievance with this, can we be understanding of those of us who are trying to be understanding and use the chopsticks and make the rolls a little bit smaller? Because it's very difficult to eat the whole thing, because the chopsticks don't necessarily allow, even the sushi itself doesn't really allow you to take a bite.
You got a problem with the width factor of the pinch. Right?
Well, it's not even just a pinch. It's not necessarily a food that's designed to be eaten in bites. You know what I'm saying? Because like when you eat one bite, it all kind of falls apart. And so, can we just make them smaller bites so that
So you want less food?
I want less food per bite. That's what I'm saying. I want less food per bite. I'm eating too much, food in the bite.
I'm not gonna. I think that's not a worthy one. I think we're going thumbs down on this one.
And imagine taking a bite of something while holding it with chopsticks. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't like hold it. If you try to clamp, it all falls apart.
Were you at home or were you at the sushi?
Yeah, I was at home. It was picked up.
Why are you using anything? Use your hands. What wait a minute.
Because this is the way it's supposed to be eaten. What do you mean? Why am I using anything? That's
You're
the way it's supposed to be done.
Reach out and grab your roll with your hands. So you don't have to. You're using chopsticks at home? That's awesome.
Well, so they came with chopsticks. It was takeout. I don't have them.
But just okay, let's gather around. You got a kid, so you probably are you sitting around the dining room table?
Yeah, he had already eaten.
So it's you and the lovely missus, and the table is set. Is there a fork anywhere near you?
I mean, there's the one in the kitchen you
didn't bring the forks out. So you brought out your dining room table. You've got the sushi, and you opened up the chopsticks, cracked them off, and started to dine at home with your chopsticks. I am wholly impressed. Why?
Because that's how it's meant to be.
Only reason I know it's meant to be gotten in your mouth the easiest way possible.
No,
and chopsticks
that's the
is
experience.
dumb, all in all. And the
that's
only reason
how it's supposed to be eaten.
I don't use chopsticks because of peer pressure, man. I'm not picking up a chopstick unless I have to.
No, like what the equivalent of what you're saying is like, oh, you ordered chicken wings and didn't tear the meat off the bone and make tacos yourself because you were at home. No, you're supposed to eat them off the bone. Like that's the way it's supposed to be eaten. I mean, come on.
I only use chopsticks because it's peer pressure. I'm not going to crack them at home.
Yeah.
No, and I just do it because I'm trying to look like I'm urbane. I can use these too, but I don't want to use them. No one wants to use chopsticks.
I do. I like the experience, and I just wish that the bites were smaller because it's hard to take a bite out of sushi. That's really my primary grievance. But the secondary nature to it is holding. Like, imagine taking a bite out of a roll.
I'm with you. That's why.
So there are two problems. One is that the roll is going to fall apart. What's left of the part that I didn't bite off, and the second part is it's going to disintegrate within the chopsticks. So I'm on the precipice of this like massive mess if I don't eat it all in one bite.
See, there's a miracle here, and it's that very thing that is now facing down. It's called the opposable thumb that you have at your disposal at any time, and at home especially. I'm still floored by the fact that you're using chopsticks at home.
I'm not only using chopsticks, I'm using theirs. It's not like I have a set that I'm rocking around with all the time. They put them in the bag with the food for a reason because they expect me to use them.
They need me to. It's drumsticks, man. I can use those. I thought that was just kind of a parting gift. I put those in the drawer with the soy sauce.
Walrus tusks.
All of those. But as food implements, I'm very impressed that you do that.
Well, do you have any more tiny grievances before we leave?
My shoelaces. There is a very particular Nike shoelace that is not flat. It's kind of rounded, and it's made out of a nylon. And they like to put it in certain shoes. I don't know why they choose this one or this type of shoelace. That will not, no matter how tightly you tie it, stay tied. We all know the shoe. You know the laces I'm talking about, not the white ones. They're normally blue or yellow or red. They're normally a different color, and they're made of some sort of indeterminate oil product, not cotton, that will melt, that has no adhesion. So no matter how tight you tie it, that lace is going to come untied. And we all have, and I've got another pair of shoes that have those laces. It's 2024. I'm a grown man. It's hard to bend all the way down there once it's to start the day. Midway, looking down at my untied shoe, you know how much planning that takes to tie my shoe now? I got to look down the road. I'm looking for anything. I'm not bending all the way down because it's only about 50-50. I'm coming back up. So I got to bring my foot to meet. I got to bring it up.
You have to find a chair or something.
I got to find a chair, and it can't just be a curb. So Nike, and these are on an old man shoe. It's like an Air Dad version of shoe I'm talking about that has the same lace that will never stay tied. And I put them on again the other day, and I hadn't left the house more than 15 minutes. I looked down, and both of my shoes are untied. So I look like that guy. And we all know who that guy is. Probably got a smile on his face and his shirt's buttoned wrong. His pants are unzipped walking around. I look like that guy because of the Air Dad with the laces that won't stay tied. What? You got to fix this.
I can't empathize with this, but it is a fair grievance, so it will pass as far as I'm concerned. Especially know your audience, Nike. You know what I mean? Like know who's they have demographics on this. You know what I mean? Like they have information.
And I'm not down. You're right. You're selling. I don't need the Velcro straps. I'm not there yet. I'm soon to be.
Yeah,
I'm not quite there yet.
You need something in between. You know what I mean? You need a thicker maybe shoelaces made out of sandpaper for you. You know what I'm saying?
Good flat cotton shoelace. Just the old school, nothing fancy. I'm willing to replace it if it gets dirty. I don't have to have something that stays that color forever.
I got one final suggestion for you on this. Now, what if you just like completely change? What if you just go like full slides all the time?
See, I'm not there yet, and I get it. I get it. Like that's the new hot thing. Like you can slide your heel in and do that. I'm almost there.
I'm just saying.
Like there's a brand called Olakai, and I've seen sneaker like Skechers where you just kind of push your foot in and the heel pops
Yeah, why don't
up.
you get some like Hey Dudes or something? You know what I mean? Like you just put your foot in there. You don't even have to tie this.
Beauty is pain.
Well,
and you have suffered a lot of pain in your life. My beautiful friend, I want to thank everybody this week who has stood beside me, behind me, and underneath and carried me. My family wishes the best for you as you've wished the best for us, and we thank you all for the prayers given to us as we said goodbye to my wonderful mother. Thanks for all that came by and offered everything. This has been a week. Hey, don't let the hard days get you down. It's going to be a hell of a weekend. Hey, we'll be back on Monday. You better be ready. I will. So will RJ.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.